Recording. Finally sending Nichole her invite. We were supposed to meet almost really almost 45 minutes ago, then a half an hour. Then I spilled stuff, and then there was stuff in the sky I needed to take pictures of. Okay, the request is sent. I have the camera set up in a different spot than I normally do because I am going to be showing this on YouTube and my website. So welcome to my website. This is a meeting with, just so you know, I'd be going like up and down, sorry. And my camera right here, just because of lighting and all sorts of stuff, just trying to get it in a good spot. So I'll be going up and down, sorry about that. But because I don't really have it. I won't go, oopsie, huh? I won't go too far up now. Okay, that's way better. Okay, so this is a meeting with Nichole. She and I got together with her two dogs on Friday. It was supposed to be morning. It turned into late morning because of technical issues, but we got that figured out, and we had a really nice session. And she's given me updates the last couple of days, and I wanted to kind of kill two birds with one stone, which in the sense of follow up with her in real time, face to face, as well as have something to put on the website after somebody has had a healing. She did a healing plus one problem area. We're not going to get into the specifics of that problem area because that's personal, but the problem area, the way that I handle problem areas are very similar. Everybody's different, but it's getting into how it was for her, really. We want to talk about her experience during the session and after these last couple of days. So I've been super excited. I'm going to send her a message, letting her know that we have sent the request. It's 4:42 on August. I've been seeing numbers like just exponentially. She said the same thing, but I've been, so we have 4422, so we're almost at 444. See, like, it'll be funny, like, I'll see these, like, oh, it's going to be that soon, and I'll just, like, okay, and then I do my thing, and if I'm supposed to look at the clock or the phone or whatever again, then I do. And that was cool. It was 44321. I'm not gonna, I have a big television right here with my Roku, and it's a big clock right there. Maybe I can. Let's see if oh my gosh, my messy house. Well, it's just not very. Ah, there we go. That's fun. So my birds are outside right now, but they hang out in all these spaces. There's 444. Oh, and my, oh, that's hilarious. It's so funny how my battery percentage will repeat the same numbers that are in the time so often. It's like impossible to set that up. I just couldn't even imagine how to set something like that up, but it it happens quite frequently. At one point, when I have the room and the time, the space in my time frame of doing things to actually post pictures, I have so many pictures of screenshots of time, and also turning that off because it's a beast. Also, aside from times on the actual I never used to be into receipts or care about receipts at all. But then I started to get wise to the fact that there's all sorts of numbers and number sequences and codes and stuff on, okay, let's see if I can do it. Okay. So now I'm fully into receipts. I always want my receipts and I look at them, and often they are interesting. Like like the total will be like 1718 or 1515 or 777. My change will be $3.21 or I mean, I have, and I keep them now. So I do want to scan them at some point because what does this one have that's well, there is like a sequence of numbers 7568, so it's like 5678, which is a little out of order on this one. 1716, just like I said. 1520, so another like jump. 2398, sequence. It's like seriously almost, if there's a receipt that doesn't have some kind of like number thing going on, I'm like, really? Where is it? Because there's always something. Oh, this one was at 9/17/27, and there is definitely a thing with okay. The 727 as it's 727. It's 44727. Yeah, 4472. You know, I don't really. I thought I had the 727 thing figured out with that being the lunar eclipse, but it doesn't go away. And then it's just 27 or 72 or 727 or 227. And when I look up all these different things and the significance of the number 27, there's so much, I just don't even. So, okay, so we had 1727, so 1727. Something 321 also on there. And then I don't even look at the prices of stuff to mean anything, because I don't know, people could be like, oh, well, you put that because it was that much. You know, it's not even how it works. It's more about subtotals, totals, and like other codes, times, and stuff like that on the receipt. So this was my total was 3774, and I really wasn't paying attention to what that meant. And I got $40 cash back. That makes sense, right? I didn't want 20, I wanted 40. So what did it come to? 7774. So 3 sevens. And this was at 1727. It's something 321. There's some code up there. 321. So there's like multiple things happening here. I don't count like all, like there's a 980 application, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what that means. 9808 something. But 808, that's the number I see all the time.
Can you hear me? I had to download it on my phone first.
Hi!
Right, this is much better than the computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I can hear a lot better.
Oh my gosh, that's
much better.
I can hear you better too. Normally I have to, and I totally forgot, but normally I have to hook up my Bluetooth speaker to, I'll try to remember to look up here, because I have like, they're in 2 different spaces. Just because it's hard to hear, but I think I can hear you pretty well, actually.
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Oh, that's good.
basil mint blueberry water.
That looks beautiful.
It inspired me.
Look what I have. It's plum and peach.
Oh, that sounds really good. Oh my.
So
yeah,
good.
you've inspired me. I just want to infuse all of my water now.
Good. It is so good for, I mean, it's good to have regular, just plain water, but
right.
it's really good to like have all the extra goodies in there too, you know?
Right.
I was just going over receipts because I get a lot of codes and receipts.
Me too. I the other day, my receipt, it was so weird. Everything I bought started with a 6 and ended with a 6. And then the total was like this really weird triple number. It was like a random visit to Trader Joe's, but it was like 676, 696, 616.
Okay.
And I looked at the receipt. I'm like, this is so weird. Yeah, ever since.
Is this bugging you that I'm like looking up? Because if I look up,
no.
you can see me, okay, but then I have to look down to see you. So
no, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Like I'm looking at like lighting and background because we're gonna have this video on my website. And I was like, well, you know, she's been waiting on me, so I'll just, you know, wait on her.
No, it's fine. I'm
looking at receipts. I'm like, so I was talking about numbers and stuff and all that, whatever. Oh, because it turned 444 as I was like starting this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And
not surprised.
I know. And so I like turned the camera so everybody could see it. I go, I don't usually like wait on a time, but it was like 4:43. I go, you know, it's not like, I go, now we know it's coming. We may as well watch it come up on the TV. So anyway, let me clean this up.
I'm like super comfy today. I have on t-shirt.
You look adorable. I think you look so cute. I love your hair.
Hey,
so
hi.
Cool.
Hey, hi.
Okay, so I was just explaining to the viewers that we're going to have this on my website and that we had our healing with you on Friday, and you've been giving me little updates, and this was like killing two birds with one stone. One, for us to go over how it was for you and how it's been for you, and to go over whatever you may want to discuss. And then for me, it helps me out because then it gives people something to reference for themselves.
Right.
And, you know, we did your pets too. So we're going to talk about them as well. So yeah. So I wanted to just kind of let you free flow. Let me turn off my this one person, I swear, we just have the worst luck in trying to communicate. It's like, I'm sorry, it's just not supposed to happen. Okay, I did that. That should be quiet now. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
So I just want you to free flow, but at some point I want us to kind of, not in too much detail, but I kind of want us to go over like the different stages that we pinpoint in that I talk about in my website about the healing, the clearing, the going through the chakras, and then the infusion. And I talked about how you had the one problem area. We're not going to go into details about it, but I want to talk about how that was for you. So at some point I want to kind of get there, just so you know. That's kind of like what I'd like to go over. And then, of course, how it's been since then. So, but we can start wherever you want. I'm just excited to see you. And it's been so great to see your messages have just been so amazing. You're just like, woo! Like happy. And I can feel your energy. I haven't seen you since the healing, so you know, I can feel your energy through there, and how just like light and airy and happy and just online you are, and kind of all this stuff coming up. And you're talking about how you're like channeling your telepath with your mom and that whole thing, and then
that's really weird.
It's so cool to hear about these little snippets. So tell me, what's it been?
So before the session, you know, like I had a little anxiety, and you know, I was just really searching for, because like sometimes we know that we need healing, or we know that we need to clear some things out. We just don't really know how or where to start.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, I meditate and things like that, but it just, I feel like I needed something deeper, which is why I truly believe like the universe brought me to you, because what are the odds that I would find you and you're in California and you do remote healing, and it was so personal even though you weren't physically here.
Yeah.
So that day, that morning, well, the night before, I did like a small little like a video, just kind of sort of talking about how I felt and just to see myself in that element before the healing.
That's so good.
Right. And so the next morning when I woke up, I wasn't anxious. I wasn't nervous. I was like thrilled. I was ready. Like I cleaned my house. I'm like, everything needs to be perfect. She's going to call me at this time. And I was really excited. Yes.
That's
So
how it goes.
Divine timing. It worked out perfectly. But it was just, it felt like something I truly needed to do. It felt like a destined part of my journey to really kickstart this new path that I'm on. My boys are playing, so if you hear them, that's but
and the
so
timing of it too. So
yes,
the date was the 16th.
We did it on this. Was it Friday?
No.
My dates are horrible.
I know. Oh,
That's been such bliss. Let's see. We did it on the 17th.
17th. Okay.
Yes. So it was the day before the 8 gate, which was pretty.
Yes. That's
divine.
What it was. It was the day before. I was like, this is beautiful timing for you.
Yes.
You're just getting, it's just so good. So,
right. And remember, you asked her, like, do you want to, like, do your session soon, like now, or when would be best? And without even realizing, like, the 8 gate and the timing, I felt like that day was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like, it needs to happen on this day. So when we started the session, I remember I told you I started to feel sleepy.
Yes.
It was like just you're talking. It was calming. It was like putting me in a trance. But I was still, like, alert. Yeah. I was just starting to feel really sleepy, more like whatever worries I had, they were just slowly melting away before we'd even truly started the session. And then
we talked about a lot of things that I think had been a part of your consciousness and you've been dealing with, and just how it is to be, like I shared, stuff about my own journey and how it can be to be an empath around people, and when you're timelines, and I mean just like all this stuff that we can feel so isolated and alone in, and a lot of us have these similar stories, and then when we're getting into this space of like going, and now I want to be done with all that. I'm so ready, like what you're talking about, like we've talked about the squeeze and all that, and so I think that just got you in a place where you were just like, oh my God, this is just like when you're sleeping, you want to get in bed and you just see the perfect bed. You're like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted, kind of thing. It was like, and I could see that happening with you. I could just see your eyes, and I was like, oh yeah, she's getting ready. We're about to get going now. So anyway, go ahead.
So when the session first started, like when we talked about relaxing, and then, we called in my spirit tribe and Mother Gaia. That is when I really started to feel like super relaxed. Like I can't really describe the feeling, but I pick up on energies, and I could definitely feel the energies present.
Oh yeah.
And so even though I was there and I was home and I was alone, the moment we called in Gaia and my spirit tribe and we started the session is when I felt like chills over me. And they weren't like freaky or anything like that.
Do you get tingly?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very tingly, and warm. So that feeling, like it's hard to explain, but just like something comes over you.
Oh, yeah.
That's truly what I felt, and it was very strong and very powerful.
Yeah.
And for me, that was just the sign that it's okay. It's time now. Relax. Everything's going to be okay. You're safe. You're protected. And so when we got into the session and you started going through my chakras, I know he's crazy. He's hyper right now.
He's like,
a big burst of energy. After we got past like the root chakra and we started talking, clearing out the solar plexus is when I really started to feel like sleepy. And so a couple of times I was out of it, but I was still there. Kind of like an outer body experience. So I was like falling asleep, but I could hear you still in my background. And then I'd wake up like, we're still here. Okay, everything's fine. But it was literally moments I'd go in and out of sleep, but I would still conscious. I was still aware. It's like I could hear you in that sleep.
Yeah.
So for me, that was like a very deep meditative state that I was able to get into.
Good.
And you were right. Laying flat on the bed was like perfect.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being propped up and then feeling that experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, laying flat on the bed was perfect. And then being in the comfort of my own home made it even easier.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there have been times I've had small chakra clearing sessions in other places, and sometimes it's hard to relax on that massage bed or whatever they're using.
Yeah.
And so this for me was like, it was perfect. It was personal, it was intimate. But I do remember that going in and out of sleep. And then when you were talking and you were having me envision the colors flowing, reaching the ground, grounding me, or, you know, to earth, I could truly envision these things. It was like, how can I explain it? Like cartoon characters, when they're envisioning and colors are coming from your face and they go wherever you want them to go. I was literally envisioning the color leaving my body, going to the ground, meeting Gaia, and then coming back to me. And also I was having visions of what Gaia looked like without ever even doing any research. And I just envisioned like this beautiful woman. And she just had like each color lighting up in the chakras. She was just a very bland color. And I was envisioning someone very nurturing. She didn't have on any clothes. She was like one with nature. And whatever she did have on, they were like vines and leaves. And I just envisioned this really natural, something out of like Avatar, something similar to that. And then I was having visions in certain moments where I was kind of like in a forest, but not really, but I was with her. And you're right. She was cradling me. I was in her lap. So she was obviously much larger than me, but still very feminine. She was basically just like a large woman, just big, like an avatar. So I was envisioning these things as we were going through each chakra. And the closer we got to like my third eye and then to the crown, I truly started to feel grounded. And whatever I felt before that session, I do not feel. Any fear that I had has left, and I'm sure you can tell I've been like a maniac on Instagram. And I've always been that person. It's just there are days where I couldn't tap into that feeling, or there were days where I would feel things, not realizing they were other energies I was picking up. So this session truly helped me to understand, in conjunction with our conversations, that a lot of these things were just energies I was picking up on. And other people's emotions that I was soaking in, which is not a bad thing, but I wasn't aware. And so it'll really confuse you.
If you don't know where your baseline is, it is really hard to know what's not yours, because you've never learned your own baseline, because you came out bringing in you know what I mean? You've always been doing this.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people it's a complete like transformation, in the sense that you really get in line with, you know, with your higher self, with your soul self, with your spiritual, like all that stuff. Just kind of, you go from this to that, you know. It's like the best kind of visual without, you know, equipment I can use, because you are like fractured and you're just vibing just all out of whack and so when you clear that out, you're like, oh, there I am. That's how I felt. That's how I felt when they told me how to do myself almost 6 years ago, and I dropped all that energy that had me so sick. And I was like, there it is. I feel so light. I feel so airy. I feel like, oh my God, like I've had little pokes and like that. It's been able to come out at times, you know, sometimes for larger chunks, sometimes for smaller chunks, but to sustain it has been impossible in my life. And it's either been one thing or another. So then when you get online with that, it's like, holy moly, it's energizing. It's like, right? Is that a good way to put it?
What I can say is, like, regardless if I have a moment where I feel sad, happy, anxious, confused, agitated, they feel like my true organic emotions now.
Yeah.
So I can really identify, okay, this is how I'm really feeling. Like, remember I told you on 8 Gate, I could feel that energy so heavy. Like, there were moments I was agitated and I'm like, argh! And then there were moments where I was light and feathery and dancing around the house, and I was just back and forth. But I could truly say, even though it was a universal energy that I was feeling, I was still very much in tune with my own emotions. I even wrote a little bit in my journal about that, but it is significant we did it the day before the 8 gate, because I didn't even know that was happening.
You mean the 18th? 18th.
Yeah, like 18.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
I just didn't even.
That day too, I was like, oh, I was flat on this couch till literally like 3 o'clock. I finally.
You couldn't move, like you didn't want to get up.
I got up here. Of course, I got up, but it would be like, okay, I'm right back down. And the most I'd be like, okay, I need to sleep, and I'd like get inspired to like do something on Instagram or
right.
mess with a photo or something, be creative, and then like, I would, but it was heavy. But at the same time, just like you, I'm like, I know where I know what is all going out here because it's that heavy on me, but it's not me. I'm just anchoring for other people. That's really, if we're that type of light worker, we're helping the people who haven't been cleared out, who aren't online and getting, exponentially more and more online. And as we do that, it's kind of like, okay, well, we clear our own stuff out so we can be as high vibe as possible for the whole environment around us and all of, everybody on Gaia, including the animal kingdom, including the insect kingdom, including the nature, like every single energetic being on Gaia is feeling it because we're all doing it at the same time. And that's some heavy shit that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so for some of us, we're just going, damn, other people just fight with other people, or they get sick, or they get a stomach virus or a flu, you know what I mean? Like people just kind of, deal with that energy in different ways and have no idea what's going on for the most part. But that's really great to hear that, because that is, the feeling, knowing what's yours and what's not, because that is, to me, the absolute foundation to being a healthy empath is knowing your authenticity in any given whatever, because as we've grown up, whether we're 23 or 39 like I was when I learned I was an empath, and then still continue to figure out what that meant, and then eventually what a physical empath was, and then being a healer empath and all that stuff. But it is so important for your own sanity and peace of mind, because I can't tell you how many of us have gone through big chunks of time where we're just like, screw it, I just want out here because this life sucks and there's nothing good about it, right? This sucks. and when and it's like, I know, I totally get that, but that's only because you don't know your own power and really who you even are in there and what's going on. And once you do, it's a whole new world. A whole new world, and you're like superhuman finally figuring it out. You've taken off the kryptonite necklace and you go, oh my God, I'm actually strong and I can, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not handicapped, because you feel kind of handicapped your whole life. Well, I mean, I did. I mean, I had a full-on physical thing going on. Aside from that, I felt handicapped because so much didn't make sense. It's like I knew so much, and at the same time, it was just, you know what I mean?
It wasn't making sense. Yeah. That's exactly what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I've always had that feeling that I was empathic, but after this session, if I wasn't sure, I'm sure now. And I'm definitely sure of my purpose. And I don't know exactly what that soul mission looks like, because light workers, we do all types of different things.
Yeah. And it's evolving.
But I just feel like this was the kickstart. Like, this truly said, this is who you are. This is why you've come to this point, and you have reached the point to where you needed to heal from these things. So now that you can show others how to live in their own freedom, to live in their own truth. That's what I feel like now. Like, I'm living in my own truth.
Yes.
And I know each day I'm going to learn more about myself because I already have been noticing things about me, and I'm like, oh, okay. Just small little things about what I like, what I truly don't like.
Wow, that's so
what I want my life to even look like. Like basically I've recreated my reality of what I want it to be like. All of the things I thought I wanted, a week ago, they're not the same. How I envision my life to look, it's not even the same. I'm kind of just going with the flow now. And it feels better that way. It doesn't feel like there's that pressure. It doesn't feel like there's that confusion of what your life has to be like. I don't feel that anymore, that confusion that I felt. I was very confused about a lot of things. Like you said, knowing all these things. Yeah.
The pressure of not having it all figured out while you don't know how you feel about what's going on. It feels like an impossible thing to even think about, having a really functional, happy life with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's how I felt,
yeah.
Because you're just like, you know what, I just feel broken. So, I mean, I was very physically ill, up and down and stuff. And to me, I was just like, that just sucks for people, to not know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it was more about that, but that just permeated every single corner. There wasn't a spot in my life where that didn't. And none of it was good. None of it was good. And but now, and since I have that all figured out, it's like I tell people I live the most magical life. It's just amazing to me to go from my reality and not knowing who I was authentically. I was somebody sick in bed, seeing specialists all the time, and taking medication every day, in and out of disability over the course of almost 2 decades, not feeling well since I was a child. Mm-hmm. And now I not only am all good and I feel better, and that's all great and stuff, but there was a purpose to all of that, and that is so I can understand what other people feel like. Mm-hmm. Because I've either felt it or I can feel it in the moment, or both. Yeah. And not only that, I can make them feel better, and I can help them with their energy because I'm so energetically sensitive. And to me, that's just like so absolutely magical, that I have this arc, and there's so much left to go. Like, I know that I figured it out to this point, but I have no idea where that will go from here. I know that I'm just addicted to this.
Yeah.
I'm so addicted to this reaction that I get, this, oh my God, I feel amazing. I felt like this. I don't know what this is, just, like, because literally. That's what it's like. It's like a birth and a birthday and New Year's and Christmas, and everybody's just like so excited because you're finally like, oh, this is what it's like to be me and not have the other stuff attached to it.
Right.
Right?
Right. Literally. That's how I felt. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah. And there's a faith and a hope and a happiness and a blissfulness and an excitement for the future, even if you don't know what's coming. And that's like almost the most exciting part about it. You're like, well, that's what's it's like, how's this gonna go? Because up till now, and this whole thing evolving and just kind of blooming in this moment that you're in right now is so special and exciting in itself, that you can see like the hazy horizon of like that glitter world, even though you can't see the details,
Right.
I know a magical, life is in store for me. I just, we're going to color in all the details as we go. That's how I see it.
Right.
I like to project just a kind of sweeping feeling over a situation or the future or whatever, and kind of envision certain things. For certain manifesting, you want to be specific. Right. But then to me, it's like you also have to be so open in what comes, and set also, as you come into who you are, set yourself aside so you can get that divine information and follow those little pieces, those little clues and tidbits, and what I call going down the rabbit hole, because you'll get a little message or information about yourself or your life or a situation, or you'll see a painting or hear a song and it'll trigger something and you'll go, oh my gosh, and it's just meant to do that. And you just start unraveling what it's meant, and everybody's individual. I am trying to have a framework there to help people kind of, if this is where you're, triggered, go here. This will help. If this is where you're triggered, because I've been through all that. I was just like literally like a blind person in a maze. Like just like a lot of us have been, and it's just each, I think person kind of doing that. Just we're trying so hard to make it easier and better and healthier for other people as they come up, because we see how important it is. Like, yes. Do you have this, like, so I don't want to keep going on. I want you to talk more. Tell me, okay, so this whole thing with being, online and authentic, feeling yourself and being authentic, and you're talking about the feeling is different from before because you were confused and all this, and now you don't know, but it doesn't matter, or right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old me, on top of just being a very anal person, like things need to work out this way. And it's only that, and that just comes from like childhood and the past, and really just having to be so independent at a young age, to where this has allowed me to stop and say, hey, you're only 23. Everything does not need to be figured out. But before the session, I would think so far ahead in the future. I gave myself anxiety, like insane anxiety. Like I'm thinking about things that I don't even have reached yet, and it's like, and I'm feeling like the only way to stay ahead is when you just think that far ahead. But really, I was giving myself anxiety and not being present in the moment.
Yeah.
I feel present in my moment. And the old me, because I refer to her as the old me, because I'm literally not the same person. The old me,
I do the same thing.
Yeah, in the same body, but not the same feelings. And, I think, just it's a free flow of energy now. But the old me would just panic about every single thing to the most minute details. And now, like you said, I don't really know where I'm going, what it looks like, but I am okay with that. It's like I have a sense of trust. I trust the universe. I trust my angels. I trust my spirit tribe. I trust myself. And I trust the people that I come into contact with that are helping me get to this point. I have a bigger sense of trust. And before then, I didn't have trust. Even if you really think about it, I didn't even trust myself, because I second guessed myself all the time. I second guessed my intuition all the time. Now I can just kind of look at things. I'm like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Or I don't even overthink it. I'm like, it's either this is what it is or this is what it's not. I don't try to find anything that's not there. That's not physically or energetically or mentally or emotionally. I don't try to make anything out of anything now. I'm accepting.
You're not going back in your story and pulling out files to see what goes to this.
No, I don't even have that time anymore. I don't have the energy to do it that way anymore. Because with this new refreshed feeling, it's like now my energy is reserved. I want to use it for what's important, for what matters. The anxiety, it doesn't deserve the energy. It no longer serves me. And I truly feel that, and I understand what that means when we say it no longer serves us. It's like your time is up.
Yeah.
That anxiety that you used to have, she has to go, because it wasn't helping me. It was hurting me. It was feeding into my physical problems, my emotional, my mental. It was like birthing all of these problems that really didn't even exist. And so understanding that now, I don't even try to think that far ahead. I wake up each day, I do my rituals, I meditate, and I'm like, we'll just go with the flow. However the day falls is how it falls. There have been a few things that haven't worked out, but I don't even see them that way. I see them as they weren't meant to be.
Right.
They just weren't meant to be. The timing either isn't right or it's just not meant to happen. And I'm okay with that. Whereas in the past, if it wasn't working out, I'm forcing it, or I'm finding ways, how can I make it work? Or I'm blaming myself for this person or that situation. And I just don't feel that way anymore. I don't give it that energy. I'm perfectly okay with saying I'm going to go with the flow. That is the vibes I'm on right now, going with the flow. and I truly can feel it. Everything's flowing. And because I stopped giving it that energy and that attention, things are actually falling into place. So
yeah, when you get out of the way, when you stop resisting and like needing to control, when you've decided this is how it needs to be, you're eliminating so many possible outcomes, and you're making it really hard energetically. At the same time, if you don't know how you feel about stuff, it makes all of that even worse, you know?
right.
So knowing how you feel about stuff, and then things quote unquote don't work out, you're like, all right, whatever, you know, like there's got to be something there, and either I'll know about it now or later or never, but it is what it is, and you're not putting that's not a time and energy stuck in one way or another. Right? As long as you're maintaining your boundaries, and you know your own energy, and people can flow all over the place, but you have to maintain. And that's when it gets like, when you start feeling energy so well and other people, that almost becomes the trickier thing than ever. Is wanting to help, wanting to be there, being open, going with the flow, but having your boundaries, knowing who's just using you,
right,
for that, to extrapolate that from you. And the higher vibe you get, you have these big swings and people coming in for various reasons, you know, and it's really kind of discerning and categorizing. I hate to put it that way, but it kind of is, you know, it just is. And that can be difficult. That can be really difficult, because we kind of innately want to turn ourselves inside out for anything and anybody to make that better or them better or whatever. But we didn't get to this point without learning the lesson, how and what a detriment that is to us and the entire plan, if you will, in general. So we have to see that coming. We have to, you know, and when we start getting more in line with all of this stuff, we will have that intuition, that time, that like getting feelings about stuff and kind of already seeing it before it's happened, and just kind of working with that and figuring all that out is probably the trickiest, I would say.
Yeah, I think once you understand who you are, that's when it's just like, okay, so everything I've been through makes sense. But now, like you said, there's that discernment and understanding the importance of reserving it now. Not allowing people to freely leech on this energy, you know, truly reserving it for the best purpose and for what will serve me and others, you know, for a higher purpose.
Right.
But I definitely can feel that just randomly in public, people have been gravitating towards me. And it's always been that way. When I go to crystal shops and people will just ask questions, and I'm like, I don't know everything, but I can help, you know? And I think it's just them feeling that energy gravitating towards me. But even now, more than ever, I can't go in the grocery store. Everywhere I go in public, someone talks to me. They'll either stop me or they'll just try to have random conversation.
I know. And this is, and it's wonderful, because they, you know, they're feeling your energy, their guides are pointing, you know, they're like, oh, there's one, here you go, you need that, you know, and you're like, so, but there are times in your life where you need to not, you're in a rush, you're not in a mood, you have someplace to be, like you can't just stop and have the random conversation with somebody for 15-20 minutes because they need that, you know. So if you're in that mode, the trick is no eye contact.
Okay.
Don't make eye contact with anybody.
Okay. And I definitely
once you lock eyes,
their eyes. I know. It's like your souls are connecting. You have agreed to this now. You're right about that. You're very right.
Yeah, you can just like, hey, you know, kind of, you know, acknowledge that people are there. don't make eye contact, you know, don't engage energetically. If you got someplace to be, if you're in a mood, you're in your own life, you're just cannot take anybody else's right now. And then, you know, you might feel that way and you can shift. You might go into some place, somebody might come and you just might go, okay, now I need that. Now I might be the one who's, you know, who's the person and decides, oh, that might, you know, and then I know when I inadvertently meet an empath, because I'll find myself with the verbal diarrhea just like other people do to me.
How we talk for hours on the phone. Yeah, I know.
I'm like, oh my God, you're totally
verbal diarrhea.
like, that's like one of the best. That's like, because I don't do that to the normals.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
We do that to each other. But a lot of times we don't know that we're doing that to each other. So
right.
What's so great is, like, the more that we understand that that's what we are and that's what we're doing, we can, you know, kind of take care of each other better that way. I think it's just
right. I agree with that.
That's so great that it's happening, though, because that's like the point of who you are.
Mm-hmm. But now I'm able to like really see like who really needs me right now and who doesn't. You know, who really just wants to talk and dig in and pull, like you say, or who truly needs this 5 to 10 minutes that could possibly just shift their entire day or their life.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to become more sensitive to that energy, whereas I'm just holding on to everything, soaking in everything. Now I can categorize it better. I truly feel like I know how to separate and sift through now.
And sometimes it's just going to be you being happy, you.
Yeah.
It's just going to be somebody just sharing space with you, talking about the shoes that are for sale and just feeling your energy. And it has nothing to do with their life or your life or who you are or what they are. It's just this, like, you know, thing. And that in itself could be it, you know? So just, you know, that's another part of why it's so great, just to kind of try to ride that flow of being authentic as much as you possibly can, because hopefully any given moment you're in that space, you know, and you don't have those feelings of looking back going, why did you do that? Why did I say that? Why didn't I do that? This is how I felt. Why did I feel just talking about all, you know, that's when we don't know what's what or who's who or what, right. You know what I mean? When we're just like, how do we feel about that?
Yeah, all over the place.
So absorbent to other people's energy as we're feeling our own. It's like, that's how narcissists can really work and get into the energy of an empath, because they're really good at kind of working this way and flipping and going back and forth and all that. But okay, so what else? So people are coming up to you and talking to you. Okay, so you said you on text you mentioned your dreams.
Yeah, my dreams have been insane. Like, I always had really good dream recall. I even have a dream journal where if I can, sometimes they're so deep and weird. The moment I wake up, if I don't write within a minute to 2 minutes, I'm forgetting it all because it was just so confusing. But I feel like the ones that are like absolutely significant that I must remember, I have at least that 10, 20, 30 minutes sometimes to write everything I can down. And usually it's just when I'm just scribbling. I don't even care what it looks like, just to get it out of my brain. But lately they've been
like do audio, like talk about it.
I probably should. That's a really good idea.
Just do audio.
Probably getting like a little tape recorder. That's a really good idea.
On your phone.
On my phone?
Yeah, it's a.
I forget I have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Smart. I forget.
With a voice recorder, and you can also download voice.
Really good idea. Okay, I'm gonna take that.
I do that. Like, I'll start getting info or whatever. I'm still trying. I know I'm dreaming. I know I'm busy in my dream state. I'm still trying to. I'm not great at that. So, but anyway,
I'm gonna do that.
Audio for just my own when I'm totally awake and I'm awake doing my business with them.
Right.
So so that way you can just, kind of close your eyes and just get back into like the visual behind your eyes and not be writing and just talk.
Yeah.
And if you want to write it, like transcribe it later, that might boost it and help you more.
Okay.
So at least you have it documented,
Okay. That's a real good idea.
It is hard to write and keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some mornings my brain just has a fart. It's like, you just woke up from this dream. Why can't you remember? So I'm really going to try that, and I'll let you know how that's going, which I'm sure it's going to go great.
Just like stay in bed and try to keep it, like put it on your screen or whatever, and just make it easy for you to find on your phone while you're
good idea.
So you're not like changing positions with your brain or your head, you know what I mean? Just try to get a habit of doing that. I would, if I was that good at it. That's amazing, because there's so much knowledge in there, that so many juicy details in the dream, that it's amazing that you can recall them like that well. So yeah, that's awesome.
And some of them, I truly, like, immediately I'll know the message behind it. See, before then, I took, like, the literal dream. So if the dream is me falling off a cliff, I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, don't go near any cliffs. Not really looking deeper into the message. So if there's something going on in my life at the moment and then I dream something like that, I understand that that is a message to either not do something, or to be weary, or to be cautious, or that this could all fall down if you did. Like, I now can look deeper into the message. But after our session, it's usually what I'm thinking about. I'll just receive the answer in my dream. And like I said, you have to look deeper into the actual what's happening in the dream, because it won't make sense. You know, one minute I'm in this segment of the dream, and then I'm with a random person, and then there's someone I've known years ago in the dream, and it's like confusing. But if you really dissect it and I look into it, then I start to understand what it really means. And then I just take heed from that. But that is one thing I noticed. My dreams are a lot more vivid. I also like to drink like teas, like Blue Lotus and things like that, to help me have better dreams too. But I do truly believe.
Maybe I should do that. Tell me about that. I should do that.
No, it's awesome. I want to master my dreams, like astral projection.
I know I'm so supremely busy in dream state, and I also, because I've also been like, come on, can I just remember a little bit more? You know, I wake up at these times, like I did today, 2:22. Like I was like it happens a lot, and I know that's supposed to trigger something. I know I have an overall feeling, and then I'm kind of told, like, you know, you'll remember when you're supposed to remember.
Yeah.
It's not that the point is that your subconscious knows, your soul level knows, your body knows, everything. You know, your consciousness can only handle so much.
Right.
And it's kind of overloaded. You being you, and I'm like, that's true. So if you don't remember your dreams and all your awake stuff too, then they kind of like. But still, I'm like, I do want, more. But anyway, you could tell me like what it is that you take for that, and
yeah, I can definitely tell you. There's a few things I'll send you and show you, but I do know Blue Lotus is one of my favorite to steep and drink before bed. And I already have wild dreams, so I think instead of allowing them to freak me out like they used to, I've accepted them, and now I actually, most of the time, I'm excited to dream. I'm excited to go to sleep and dream, because they just.
Now, let me ask you: have you experienced what is known as either nightmares or night terrors?
Yes.
Okay, so you've had the situations where things are very normal in your dreams, like almost like just living time, and nothing is fantastical. It's just kind of normal, but then it starts turning and twisting into like that.
I had one recently. I wouldn't call it a nightmare, but it did wake me up out of my sleep. And then I went right back to sleep, because I didn't have that feeling over me. But I can't really explain all of it, but what I do remember significantly, and it might not have been a nightmare, but it felt so real, it freaked me out. Yeah. There were hands. There were a set of 2 hands in my dream. And these hands, they were like big, lighter complexion, kind of rough, like someone old age, wisdom. And I prayed to my.
Good or not?
Huh?
So how did it feel? Good or not?
It wasn't like it didn't feel like anything evil, but it didn't feel like anything like nice either. Like, I was in the dream, and I just remember the hands were around my neck, but they weren't choking me. They were just around my neck, and not even like crossways this way, right? But in my sleep, I wake up, and I swear to you, I could feel the hands in my actual physical. And so I woke up, and I go,
okay, so let me start you.
And it's giving me chill bumps, because I feel like I felt those hands.
Okay, so here's the deal. Don't freak out too bad, but
okay.
what I came to understand, and okay, so to take you back a little ways and give you some context. One of the reasons why I don't remember and haven't remembered my dreams since I was about 25, 26, somewhere in there, was because I had such horrible night terror. Every time I would sleep, not only would I have these super vivid dreams that felt like normal wake state, just like being at home, talking to somebody, and then like all of a sudden things would just start to turn bad.
Yeah.
And just just creating more either fear or anger, usually fear in some way, for myself, for other people. So it's very, and the reason why they're called night terrors is because they're so real feeling.
Yeah. Prince, no.
And so I went to my doctor back then, and I was like, you got to help me, man. Like, I'm exhausted every single day. I wake up being exhausted, and I can't live this way. I work full time. I have a child. You know, like, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, I'm sorry, I just don't believe in like sleep, you know, pain or whatever, sleep med, you know, like
sleeping medication.
And I was like, oh, he's like, you're just gonna have to. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, I can't, like. So he didn't. I basically told myself I was not. I'm like, I know I'm going to be dreaming. I just don't want to. I don't want to remember. I don't want to remember my dreams. I don't want to. If I wake up tired, so be it. I don't want to remember what happens because I can't be awake all night in my head. You know, like it was energy, and I know for a fact that led to me and my symptoms of my physical symptoms, because it was draining me energetically at night. That's when you're supposed to be restoring your body and your energy, and you can't do that if you're in this complete effed up place when you're supposed to be doing that. It's completely counterproductive. So fast forward to, okay, spiritual awakening after Kundalinis and all this stuff happens, and it's like, oh, dream, and I'm like, black, just black nothingness. And I'm like, why is that? And it's like, well, remember what happened and why you did this. Like, I basically just told myself, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to remember my dreams. So, you know. That's what it worked. And which at the time I found really kind of weird, but I was just happy about it. I didn't read too much into it. So then I'm told, okay, so here's the deal with all of that. If you can take into account how some of us are very aware that as light bodies, we're targets for negative energy.
Yeah.
Well, we're targets for negative energy when we sleep too. And there's certain negative energies that live in the lower dimensions of the ethers when you first go into dream state, before you rise up and get astral. They can take you there and full on just distract you before you even have a chance to get past that. They're throwing all sorts of imagery at you. They're getting into your space. They're messing with your head. They're keeping you energetically exhausted in your sleep. Like, do you see how this is like connected? I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
It makes a lot of
like, oh no, this is the thing. And there's actually like I saw videos I know or read, I can't remember over the years, I've seen so many different things, but it's been confirmed on different levels that what can very easily happen is, and it happens more as you are dealing with lower vibrational energies in and around you, you're more susceptible to that. So I know I'm not dealing with that now. I just kind of shoot past it. I'm just still not remembering everything, but I do know that that's not 100%. And sometimes I think that it does happen. I think sometimes it happens when, you know, as much as we try to shield off our space and whatever, you know, things seep through.
Yeah.
So it's important to, because I haven't, and I know that that's not a part of if it was, I couldn't do healing. You know what I mean? So I know that that's not it, because that's just way too low vibe. It's so exhausting that I just can't. But if you are still experiencing that, if that's coming up, it makes sense, because you're kind of I don't know, you kind of have the little bell over your head right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And it was only that one, but it didn't surprise me. I kind of expected it. Like, if I can count on my hand how many experiences I've had in my dreams that woke me up and I was like scared shitless, it was only 2.
Oh,
one of them, no one will believe me, but I was like astral projected from my bed, and then I came back down, and I tried to yell for my younger brother, and nothing would come out. I couldn't yell for his name. I wanted to go, Philip, just for someone to come in the room with me, because I was freaked out. And this was like years ago, before I even started to really know like who I was and, you know, what my abilities were and my energy in general.
Yeah.
And that really freaked me out. But this one freaked me out, but I didn't let it consume me. I woke up, I turned on angel music, I went right back to bed, and I was perfectly fine. But it did feel like very real, and those hands were rough and unattractive. And I even told it to my friend. I'm like, it was weird. They were around my neck, and they weren't trying to literally strangle me, or at least they didn't get to that point yet. But it was just the idea of it. And I ripped the hands apart, and then I woke up. And so that was the only thing I've experienced since then that was like, okay, wow. But my dreams, besides that one, they've been amazing. They've been crazy. Some of them have been like supernatural. And some of them also have been messages about some of like the relationships I've been wanting to end, just really confirming that I've made the right choice and things like that. Yeah. And just,
you were saying how like you'll have a question and you'll wake up knowing that sort of thing. Yeah.
Literally.
Yes. I started doing that way, but I was like, you know what? If I can't figure something out, I'll just decide I need to have the answer when I wake up. And then this was years ago, and I was like, oh my God, it worked. So like I didn't know what I was doing or what was happening, but that's just kind of how it works.
Yeah, I'll even pray and ask them to show me in my dreams what I need to know. If I can't get it in this world, show me in the dream world, please. Because I get it. There's a lot going on energetically. So if you can, make it to where I can remember, make it make sense, or at least where I can dissect it. And they always come through for me. They always will show me in some way what I need to know in the right time too. So yeah, the dreams have gotten really colorful. There was even one night, it was actually the night of 8/18/18. I took my sleepy tea, which is like, it's a mixture of a bunch of herbs that are supposed to help you, you know, lucid dream. It's like this really crafty tea that I bought from an online website. Yeah, because I'm like obsessed now. I want to master my dreams. I want to truly understand what it means to connect with the dream world. And so I drank.
Back in the day, I used to lucid dream, and then I'm like, well, I can't like say yes, I lucid dream, and then sometimes I'm in night terror, and then I just shut it all down, you know. But to lucid dream is so bitchin'. You there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone called. I had to decline it really quick, even though my phone is on Do Not Disturb. I told you it doesn't work.
That's okay.
But so yeah, and then the most significant thing for me, which has made me feel just amazing, is my angel numbers. And you already know because I've been telling you, but before then I would get the ring in my ear. I would look at the time. I would get messages that were very relevant at the time. But now when I tell you, like, numbers are following me, they're everywhere. I see them in the most significant places that you wouldn't even imagine, you know, and I'm like, wow, this is getting deeper. They're truly connecting with me more. It's like that day we established the fundamentals of our relationship. That day they realized, okay, she's ready to receive. She's ready for us. She's open. She's taking the necessary steps to heal, meaning now we're ready to show her a more elevated level where we just rang in her ear maybe once or twice a day. Now it's like everywhere I look, on license plates, receipts, the TV, pieces of paper, sometimes randomly outside. I've been finding white feathers all over the place. I pick them up and I just keep going. But I truly feel more connected than I ever have with my angels and my spirit tribe. And I feel connected. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I feel we have that relationship now.
Yeah.
Whereas before I might have dibbled and dabbled, or I didn't listen fully. Now I listen. If they're telling me something, I hear you. I'm listening. And I'm going to do exactly as you guide me to, because I know that they have my best interests at heart always.
Right.
And so I just let that fear go, that fear of not knowing, or that fear of, oh my God, people are going to think I'm nuts. And I'm like, but wait, this is about me and my journey. I can't let those things stop me from getting to where I need to be to truly heal. And then, you know, also help others to get to that point too. But the only way to do that is if I'm good. I have to be perfectly healed, and I have to energetically be where I need to be before I can even fathom a thought, you know? And so with all of that being said, I truly feel connected. It's such a beautiful thing. And I'm honored. I feel honored, and I show gratitude for everything. Like every little thing I have in my life now, I show gratitude. I no longer compare myself to the material world, and I don't feel like I need all of these things. I was kind of already a minimalist. Like for the past 2 or 3 years, I've become like a minimalist. Like I really don't need much. Now I am a hoarder when it comes to plants and crystals and all things like that. But like the material, like I don't go to Sephora and spend like $300 on makeup anymore. I don't care about those things. But I just
that is so funny.
Show gratitude for the smallest things.
I was literally just thinking that today. I'm like, okay, I'm like, when you have, I was like working on my website screen. I was talking about, okay, these are symptoms when you're not in your soul, and I was just kind of like typing all this stuff, and I'm like, we have addictions, and And then I look over at my crystals and my plants. I'm like,
you're aligned.
I'm like, how when you're addicted to crystals and plants, and when you're addicted to something, I'm like, I'm gonna say no.
I mean, they're all high vibrational. They give life. They give off energy. I would rather have those things. Look at that beautiful, gorgeous. You're so funny. I love that crystal. She is a beauty. I can feel it through the phone, literally. She's beautiful.
Would you? Okay, so I want you to take a guess. I know you've seen pictures because it's been like, excuse me, crystal porn over here with me and my video taking of this thing. It's not even. And then and then I got. Oh, did you see this one? Just got that yesterday.
Yeah, what is that? A quartz?
It's
I love point crystals.
It's
really nice.
Like so.
I've been looking for one, but I want a tall one.
Yeah, me too. That's my first I mean, this is a point, and I have a lot of points, but just a little like.
That one's perfect.
A little point. This is. I mean, I've got a ton of quartz, but yeah, it's like. But you know, it's cool though because I live next to one of the most amazing crystal shops on the planet. Okay, so I want you to guess how much this was. It weighs like, I didn't weigh it. I should have weighed it.
It's very dense.
It's probably at least 10 pounds.
Yeah, I was going to say anywhere from 8 to 10.
Really heavy. I want to put it on a liquid season so I can.
Guessing. I would say $35.
Oh, wow. You must have a really good crystal shop.
The only reason I say that is because I'm like, maybe they just love her and they gave her a really good price. No. But normally, though, something like that would be in the hundreds because I bought really, small raw pieces of crystal for like $45. Yeah. So I wouldn't doubt if you said anywhere from like $100, but I tried to be nice. Yeah. No, how much was it?
No, you're actually, excuse me. No, that's exactly right. It was $40.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was $40. Like this would normally be like $30.
Yes, right.
Okay, this was $10.
Wow, you do. I need to come to your shop.
Like this.
They can have all my coins.
Look at this craziness.
That one's beautiful and it's so raw.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow.
Like, I live next to the most, I know I say it like it's like a mantra just because I'm so utterly grateful for them, and they just want to make the money.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who shop there who turn around and sell for 5-10 times as much as they buy it there for. Sometimes in a really shady way too. Like,
Yeah.
a little shady. Like when I bought that, he's like, "You're not going to sell it, are you?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
They don't know you, do they? They don't know your obsession.
No.
No, but $40, that's a steal. That's a great
We had 2 more that were just like a bunch of, like that big and a bunch of points, but this was the one that they had that was just like one massive point. And
yeah, that was
beautiful. In any other store, I mean, the point isn't, it's not an intact point either.
Mm-hmm.
But because then if it was at his store, it would have been at least, you know, maybe 200. And then if it was an intact point at some other store, it could be upwards of, you know, for that thing. So it's not an intact point, but it's pretty close. And it's just amazing. The bottom of it, look at that.
Beautiful.
I mean,
so beautiful. And
it's
dense.
just ridiculous. Anyway, we're getting off crystal crazy. So crazy. I cannot help myself.
I truly am. Like, I don't think
that's they're meant for us. I've been told this.
Mm-hmm.
The day that was there, I almost didn't go. I was gonna do it because every time I go in there, I cannot, like, because there's a crystal there that I have on layaway, and I told myself I'm not going to buy anything else until I pay that off. And it's the most expensive in their store. It's $800. So you can imagine how amazing this is.
I'm sure it's amazing.
It's crazy. And I can't believe it, but I'm just a little bit, he's like, I don't care how long it takes you. If this is the crystal, you want to pay, you want it, they're amazing over there. I'm like, okay. So I told myself I was going to buy something, and then I was like, I almost did a U-turn down this. They're literally 2 minutes from my house. And I almost did a U-turn and walked with Rosie away. And my guides are like, you need to go there today, right now. And I was like, okay, whenever I get that, there's always something special there for me.
Right.
And that was there for me. Actually, for the next 45 minutes, I could not stop thinking. I couldn't do my
job.
I couldn't
you had to get it.
About this thing. It was $40, and I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to, and I told myself, and they're like, would you please go buy that crystal? It's meant for you. And I'm like, okay. I'm really good at depriving myself. I'm like a pro at depriving myself. I know it doesn't look like it, but like I'm pretty stingy with myself, actually. So it's hard for me to do stuff like that. So when I spend $2, $3, $5, $10, like I have like that's not a big deal. Like when it gets like more like that, I'm like, oh my God, it's a lot of money. But these are one in a lifetime, they're priceless. They really are impossible to price a lot of these things. And they come to us in special ways. A lot of them are coded. They're light encoded. They were coded millennia ago through our other lifetimes, and they're coming back to us to help us. Like when we're in our sleep, they're like activating us in our space.
Yeah.
The crystal realm and the crystal energies and how they work in our lives, and why are light workers so crazy insane about crystals, and they have their crystals, and that's like it's like crystals and plants. That's how we are, because plants talk to us, and we exchange this beautiful energy with our plants and our look at this. I have freaking trees in my house, and plants, and it's an excuse for the birds. I live like this anyway. Right?
Yeah, I love the branches though. That was so
I love that. And then the crystals are the same way. There are these pieces, and I read this article about not too long ago about crystals and how they, I'm always reading about crystals, but it was this beautiful thing about how, don't disregard the power of the draw to a crystal when you feel that like tug in your chest for
yeah.
crystal, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
You see a crystal and you're like, oh, it's like a baby, like you just met a baby.
You have to have it.
You have to have it.
Yep.
And luckily when you see them, you can afford them. And usually something happen and you're like, oh my God. And it could be a $2 crystal, a $5 crystal, doesn't matter. The price of it, right. What it is, I tend to really like, if I'm in the creek, you want to hear the freak, this is so freaky. I have a creek out here. We have natural quartz. Let me show you some of my natural quartz that I
that come through the creek?
Yeah, they're just rocks and around here. Look at
Oh, that's so amazing.
Like, I have them like everywhere. They're and I kept finding this is one. It's like quartz and a whole bunch of whatever, but like look at how beautiful that is.
Yeah.
I have them. Sometimes they're this white, and sometimes they're all different. But anyway, I will be in the creek, and I'll be like looking over here, and all of a sudden, literally, this has happened to me several times. It's so. I'll just my hand will. I won't even look. I won't even know what I'm doing. I'll just go like that, and I'll pull up a quartz, and I'll be like, whoa!
And it was free.
Oh yeah, not only that, but I wasn't even like, my hand just went to it. Like my hand goes to a hot spot on a person's body, just like it just. It's happened to me. Yeah. So this creek I have right here. Oh, it's 5:55. All day, people. All day. It's on a level. So anyway, I have a ton of just regular crystal quartz. Rose quartz and amethyst are like my top 3.
Yeah.
Those
are my top 3 too.
Really, I cannot get enough of any of them. Oh, look at this piece of rose.
Rose quartz was the first crystal I'd ever got.
Me too.
I fell in love with her. Oh, she's so chunky. I love it.
This is.
Oh my gosh, I love her shape.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
This is
very intricate.
The first crystal that I bought at my rock shop over here.
Ah, so that one's really special.
And I saw it and I was like, are you kidding me? This is sitting here? Because like I saw the whole like face, the ear, the mouth, like the whole like side of it. To me, it looked like a side of a cat or a lion, or I was like, what?
It looks like a fossil to me, like the side of some type of animal fossil. Like it could be anything depending on what your imagination looks like. But I am picking up those vibes.
Look at it. Mouth. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
And then like a month later, I'm in the creek, adventuring is what I call it, like a child, because that's when I'm really in my zone. And I find this.
Wow.
So we have the male and the female.
Wow.
I know.
How insane is that? They even have the same point.
I know.
That's kind of freaky. That's freaky. That is really freaky. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. That's so cool. Wow.
So they sit on my table like this looking at
it. Yeah. I would do the same. Wow.
Yeah, just another one of those, and it was like dug into the dirt and the water and everything, and just this little point. You can see how it's different color on this side than this side. This was like in the dirt, like it's dark. You see?
Wow.
And this is completely different. Look at all the detail. This thing, it looks like it's carved. Like it has like the eye. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, I can. It's mind-boggling me that they are the same shape.
I know.
Like, what are the odds?
Within like a month of going to the store and getting this, and this was $1 a pound, so I think I paid like $1.50 or $2 for this. Yeah.
Oh.
Over here.
Some places are overcharging then, because that's insane.
I know.
That's really insane.
It's just like it's one of the most beautiful pieces. I was like, when I saw it there, I'm like, are you like? I was like, it was one of the first time I ever went. I was like, this is like they sell it by the pound. I have 2 huge pieces outside on my deck that are like this big. I paid like $8 and $9 for them, and they're like,
wow. Those are usually $200 crystals. I want to own a crystal shop.
This one's a lot more pink. The ones I have outside, they have more like yellows in them, but I love that. Like it doesn't have to be perfect for me. But within like just a couple of weeks, this was all buried and this little piece was sticking out his little ear. And I like dug, I was just like obsessive about it. I'm like, what's with this rock? I don't know, but you gotta have it. I'm like, okay. That's how I am in my life.
For you. I tell everyone that it's for you. They pick you, literally.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Look at that.
That's another thing. People have been asking me for advice on crystals lately. And I've just been telling them, don't overwhelm yourself with finding the right one. It will choose you. So whatever you resonate with, whatever makes sense, whatever catches your eye, that's the one you need in this moment. And I literally tell that to everyone. Oh, that one's so beautiful. Now, they're going to think we're insane. This is just giving me so much happiness right now. I'm living through your crystals. That one is beautiful.
I know.
From over here, it looks like diamonds. Just like rough, uncut diamonds. That's what that looks like.
Okay, so it's so do you see the dragon head, the dragon face? His face is like, it's a side
wow.
view. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can. You're helping me to look deeper into the shapes.
So you can see, like, pretend it's like a fossil almost, just small.
Yeah.
You can see like his mouth right here. You can see his eye.
And then the head with, oh my gosh.
Full on head. Like, look at that. I got this at my rock shop. And
I need to come to your rock shop.
Oh yeah, the whole world does because they're amazing. But
wow.
Look inside his head right here. Can you see that?
That is like insane.
This is like my baby.
That one's insane.
I level up. This one's just almost like, I saw this and it was funny. I was guided to the store, and I remember in my vision, I saw something very light in color. And I was like, okay. And it was about this size. And I was like, all right, I'm looking for that. And there was some, what was it? It was like the blue and white celestite, I think. This piece was absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, whoa, how much is that? And there wasn't a price tag on it. And Bill didn't know. You got to call it Pam. And I was like, that's like really expensive. And I was like, okay, well, just let me know. She got my, number, and I was leaving, and I almost left, and it was like I was pushed back into the store. And she's like, I thought you were gone. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not. I'm going to meet you. I go, I know. It's so weird being I go, yeah, I know, but I'm not. She's like looking at me. Her face is so funny. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I turned, and this was just like, boom. Sitting right there. I don't know how I was so focused on this other one because I was like going down the line and I saw it. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. And this one was just like 2 feet away from it, but I didn't even get there. It's kind of overwhelming. I always have a cat. I don't know if you can see, but I always have I try to always have a candle by him, just because he's so beautiful. Yeah, and $20.
$20.
Yeah.
I need to come there.
So it's like, to me, it's like, not only, I was thinking about this, when we talk about, this, we could circle back here. When we talk about being grateful, how you're just in this state of gratefulness and just seeing how beautiful your life is and how beautiful everything is. And yes, there's bad things in the world. And yes, people are suffering. And yes, you've suffered. And yes, there's shit to get over. And yes, there's stuff to figure out. And yes. You can go through that all day long. But at the same time, in this right now moment, you can think, if you really just take a beat, you can think of 8 billion things to be grateful for, right? And to live in that space as much as you possibly can. So I was thinking the other day, I'm like, how grateful I am to have this place, this space that I live in, that I was able to come to, that I came and, activated the land here and have leveled up in exponential ways that I knew wouldn't have happened elsewhere, and that I live within walking distance. I mean, it's harder to get to a grocery store than it is to get to my shop.
Yeah, right.
It's right there, and they're so amazing, and they're so generous, and they're so giving with what they have. And I got most of these crystals that I now own from that shop. I had some before I came, but nothing like I have now in the almost year that I've lived here. Because even though I've been pretty poor up until now, it's been pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Here and there, I can afford, you know, $2 for
beautiful crystals.
So anyway, was we were talking about, you know, being grateful and in that space and everything. Do you find that, like, if you start, like, have you been dealing with like any of the like overwhelming sensations where
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah, definitely. I kind of felt like that yesterday. I'll just sit here and I'm like overwhelmed with like joy, but also like the more I've been seeing the angel numbers, I've been getting overwhelmed. Remember you made a comment how you're overwhelmed because you live like just a beautiful life, a divine life. I'm feeling that way.
Yeah.
Just the smallest things I show.
Oh yeah, I told you I was just bawling at just how
yeah,
and it was just one thing after, it was one message after another. It was the angels and Jesus, just one after the other, and like after like a couple hours of that, I was literally just bawling. I'm like, they're just so uplifting and loving and giving the messages, and it can be very overwhelming, you know, but in not a bad way. But sometimes it's like you just kind of like I told you like my heart, like I was like my chest like was literally, my heart chakra was expanding so much during that whole like whatever was going on that day, that my heart was just like expanding, that it literally, it hurt. And that's the last few days that like I felt as a ascension symptom, as a symptom of kind of different energies and coming in with enlightenment energies and stuff, that like my heart chakra has been like getting these like almost like painful, I don't even know what to call it, like they've quieted down. There was like 2 days where you just be like, oh my gosh, like I feel like if somebody I wasn't aware of all that, might get really freaked out, you know. Like that's
right.
You know, but that's like a real, I started feeling like literally, well now I'm so connected with the whole chakra system with myself and other people that like they'll just set off and I'll know exactly which one's doing what. But one of the first ones that I could really feel that feeling with my chakras was my heart chakra. That like heartwarming, chest expanding, heat feeling energy. Have you felt what I'm talking about?
As the moment our session ended, remember I told you, I said, I'm going to go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep.
You said
I thought that was going to happen, but I made some food and then I was eating and I was just sitting here in my element. I'm like, life really was never that bad. It was just what I was carrying. But when I really truly looked back on how far I have come and the things that I've been through, and the fact that we're all alive, and you know we can choose to be healthy and make conscious choices, and even down to my vegan burrito that I made, I'm like, I have the choice to be this way, to eat and show gratitude, and so even just eating that food, it made me happy. Just to have that fulfilling that fulfilling emotion of starting out hungry and now I'm full, and just every little thing that I took for granted, I just don't feel that way, and my heart is completely open. Like even to me, I think before then it was open to other people, and you know I'm worried about everyone else and I'm giving love to them, but I'm like, you're not even giving it to yourself. And so now I feel it for me. Like I'm in love with me. And I know it has a lot to do with, you know, having my rose quartz around all the time, but my heart chakra literally did open, fully, not a little bit. It didn't crack. It's fully open now. It's ready to receive and to give. And I feel that every day waking up. Every day I wake up, I just feel, like you said, that infinite love and light energy. That is the only way to describe it. And it's not something that you just see. You start to feel it. You start to feel it. You start to notice it when you're in situations and you don't like respond the same. When you're in, you know, certain thought processes and you notice how you don't feel the same. Instead of allowing it to bring you down or make you feel worthless or whatever those negative, low vibration emotions were, we don't have room for those anymore. It's all about love and infinite love and light and positivity and all of these high vibrations that I'm on, I don't ever want to come down from that. Literally. And so yes, my heart chakra
so now
is very much open.
And you'll know if you
I can feel it.
If you start feeling off, if that starts wearing down, and I tell people, well, some people, you know, having one session will be great and good, and that's wonderful, but depending on your lifestyle, depending on where you live, depending on who you deal with, depending on, you know, different things, depending on if you're a healer yourself, you know, like we all need help,
right.
you know, and you may need, you know, I think are one of the things that and I hope, you know, at some point, you know, I'm going to find, because I've got to be really careful with who I let, like, do what you let me do. We all have to, but I'm just exponentially, like, I've had people try to mess with my energy from yards away and try to tap in and extrapolate, and I've dealt with all sorts of psychic attacks and stuff. And
you're divine. You are true.
A little bit, but we all need that help, and now you'll know. You know, and I hope it doesn't happen anytime soon, but you'll be like, okay, I'm off. I'm clogged. I'm this, I'm that. And hopefully you're empowered in that. You'll be like, oh yeah, I did this and I did that and feeling great again. Or you might be like, yeah, you know, I might need to get back in line, or this happened, or I traveled, or who knows what, but you'll know the difference, and it won't be a big whole thing
mess.
in your life. Yeah.
More like acknowledging, okay, time to tune back in, time to wind up a little bit.
Yeah.
Fix the bruise.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like I tell, it's like the whole thing with like clearing and the grounding with Gaia and her, and being tethered your chakras into those main chakras, because the other, you know, they go out from, we have many chakras in our bodies, but when those ones are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they just trigger everything else, and we come in with the infinite love light. So yeah, we get them all. They're all going to be working and all going to be online. That's the, you know, the goal with everybody, depending on what's up and going on with somebody. I mean, it may be, you know, they get 50% more opened up. That's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, whatever is better. But once we do that practice and really connect and feel those deep connections, and that that unconditional love from our angels, from our spirit tribe, from Mother, Father, God, from Gaia, we can feel it from our soul self. We'll know, we just kind of feel. I think it's just easy to get in that like cradled kind of bliss state of knowing, you know what, before my state of mind was fear and anxiety and stress and how's everything going to work out and survivalist. I call it survivalist mode.
Yeah.
We're programmed to be survivalists, especially if we've had really jacked up, you know, childhoods or lives or illnesses or whatever. We become survivalists, or, you know, really messed up things financially for us. Some people have gone through that over and over again, or maybe one big time or whatever. So we get in these survivalist modes, and we're so disconnected. And when we have that, and we're able to be in that frame of mind, I guess, and and that connection where you do feel cradled and love with, like, I told people, that's why I say like the hashtag I love you already, because like I do, it's like I already love you, like I love even the person who's acted, you know, against me because of blah 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 blah. Like all I do is I love you and I send love to you, and I love you already. Like anybody that's gonna come to me, that's just how I feel. Like I got there at some point where I'm just like, I love everything and everybody, to maybe irritating to you, but I cannot help myself. I just do. But it's also not to my detriment. It's like I can work within that and feel good about it, and use that in such a positive way, but targeted too. You know, that's what's important, is that we're like, we feel it for ourselves all the time. We're in this state of like communicating with our tribe, whether we're talking out loud or we're in our head or whatever. And if we have those, like you were saying, those moments where you're, you know, thinking in a negative way, it's so much easier to snap out of it. It's so much easier to hear them going, what are you doing? Like, why are you, you know, they'll actually talk to you like that. Like, okay, let's get back on track. Like, they'll full on, like I tried, I'm like, I'm in a constant dialogue. When I almost drop something and I don't, and it's not a big, huge, fat mess, I'm thanking my angels for that, because you know, I feel like whether they have something to do with, they're not in my brain, it feels like every little thing that I'm helped with and assisted with, and anything in my life, I am grateful for that positive energy, you know?
I can agree.
You know, I think it's just so easy, you know, it really is to have, you know, you don't have to wait around for the big things to be grateful for.
Right.
It is, you know, not that difficult. Like this face looking at me.
Hi, baby.
I'm grateful for this face. I have so many great faces to look at.
That's another thing too. I already love and appreciate, like, me and my dogs are so in love with each other, but even just looking at their faces, especially after our session, that like connected me to them. It's like the closest thing to giving birth as you possibly can feel for something, right? Because they're my kids. And people laugh at me because they'll say, how old is Prince? And I'll go, oh, I gave birth to him in January. And it's a joke, but the point is that's how close I feel connected to them as if I gave birth to them. But even now, there's like a newfound sense of appreciation for them, even the difference in their personalities. Like how you got to tap into Prince and you see how crazy he is. I'm still going with the flow on that, but I appreciate the differences in their personalities, like just the smallest little things. I feel like I understand him now. Now I see that what he needs from me, you know, and I know that a lot of those behaviors, they won't last forever, but now it helped me to tap more into what he needs. It's not just about me, it's about them too.
He's really curious. That's like the most thing.
I had to just put him in the playpen. They won't let us talk.
I know I've talked about you guys. I'm like, I, you know, worked on the sweetest lady and her two dogs in Florida, and people were like, oh my gosh, and I was like, yeah, when he talks about how naughty he is about what he eats, and he doesn't care, and he doesn't. It was just so cute how he showed me that. He was like, I'm like, all right, let me tap in with him. So I start feeling his body, and I just feel kind of like, you know, here and there, not like it was with Richard, no. And then he just like cut me off. Like, I'll stop you right there and just tell you how it is. I just put it in my mouth, and I don't care about the consequences. And sometimes when I shit, it looks like this. And then he showed me himself like pooping. And then he's like, it's like wax crayons or something, and like some other.
Oh my gosh! I caught him trying to eat poop the other day. And I go, what are you doing? You just ate dinner. What are you doing? And then I thought about you. I thought about everything. And I'm like, I won't even yell at him. I'll just pick up the pad, we'll fold it, and we'll throw it in the trash.
There's probably something in there he just like needed to check out again.
And we'll just act like it. Well, I fed them carrots for snack, and I think he was just like wanting the carrots back. Yeah, he's really weird. Prince, no, it's okay. But yeah, he's whining right now. He wants to come out.
He's that I will discover what this is with my mouth and my stomach, and I don't care. Like, he was literally like, sometimes I get a stomach ache, but I really don't care.
And I can tell because I have to give him some little herbal medicine for that. So I know he does. He does.
He's just kind of like, I know that if I didn't do this, that wouldn't happen, but I can't help myself.
Yeah, he really can't.
So you
I know that now, though.
Like, cannot keep, like, if you walk him, like, she's the same way. If my eyeballs are not on her and she comes across like a chicken bone or a piece of, you know, who knows what disgusting thing she's like chewing on it to taste. I'm like, are you ew? And then I feel like the best food, and they're like, I don't like it. And I'm like, how does this make sense?
I would ask myself that all the time, like, why does he do that? Why does he want to eat this? What is wrong with him? But just tapping into him now, I literally laugh at him because he's so hilarious to me. He's just, that's my barbarian child. I accept it for what it is. I love it.
So different. They're so different. Like,
very much so.
We'll tell the viewers that she has King Richard, and he's had seizures, and she's pretty sure that somebody she lived with may have hurt him, and not sure exactly, been to different specialists and all sorts of stuff. And so you going in that he had this, even though he hasn't had a seizure since February, it's been a while.
Yeah.
That there was, you know, there. So I just kind of scanned his body, and then when I got it, well, it really didn't take long because they were right next to you during your healing. So it was really easy for me to just get right in there. And as soon as I did, I felt just this pain on this whole side of my head, my ears, and my eye. And it was really bad. And basically, I was like, that's basically like a migraine, is what I was like. They're like, his guides, they're telling me, that's what happens. He gets this migraine thing, and he gets really sensitive to noise and light and even food.
He won't even chew. He doesn't want to chew, and his eye will do this really weird, barely open.
It hurts really bad. It's like, I'm sure you got a migraine. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But see, now, since I found out what that was, and it's so hard to, like, what it felt like to me was just this, like, I don't even know. Like this gray, okay, I'm going to try my best to describe visually what it looked like to me and what I was working with visually in my head. Where I was like, okay, I'm like, we'll just go slow. And it's not like digging in super hard, because he did start whining when I started removing it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I need to go slower, because it felt like something, like he has the tiniest little head, so I'm gonna work bigger, okay?
And he has an open frontal too, so that might be part of the reason why. Like he has an open frontal.
It could have been more susceptible, but it felt like this piece of meat on top of his head or his brain, like attached to it.
Baby.
And like when I went to remove it, it's kind of like how you would almost imagine when you're removing, if you've ever removed meat from a bone, and how it's like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like that kind of like it'll come, but it's really stuck on there.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like to me. So instead of me just kind of like easily pulling it off, it doesn't work that way. Like I had to just like very slowly, just little, like millimeter by millimeter by millimeter, just work. And then like it did eventually let go, and then it was gone, and he was way better after that. And that was like really the only problem that he had, but he was just a major problem. Like I think that like from this point forward, he may be more susceptible because he is open in there, that so now you'll know if that starts happening what needs to happen, but I think that there was an actual thing, and it became worse and worse and worse, and certain things may trigger it. It could be atmospheric. It could be somebody's energy. It could be, it's like sometimes.
I definitely know he picks up on energy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. He is definitely way more energetically sensitive than Prince.
Yeah.
By a lot.
I believe I was 5 months pregnant with a baby boy when I was 20, and I lost him. I was surgically induced, and a strong part of me believes he was reincarnated in Richard. Aww. Just that connection we have is so special. It's so special. And when he has those seizures, he looks right at me like, Mom, like, please help me. Like, like, make this go away. And that's so heartbreaking to see that, but he's also so brave. He fights. I've had neurologists, veterinarians tell me just put him down. And Richard looks at me like, put me down? I'm not ready to go yet. We can figure this out, but don't put me down. And I'm like telling him I would never. Putting you down would be the very last option, and that would only be when your spirit tribe, his guides, and he felt like that was absolutely necessary if he was suffering. But we wouldn't call that suffering. Look at him now. He's the happiest dog ever.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
happiest dog ever. And he spit up just a little bit. The day after, he spit up like yellow fluid, and I was concerned because I'm like, oh,
Like,
these are starting points of his seizure.
like bile.
It'll be fine. Yeah, just like a little bile.
Yeah.
But usually in the past, that would be the beginning stages of the seizure. He would throw up like that. He wouldn't eat a few days following. His poop would be weird. And then a random day, he has a seizure. So I got worried. And then within 5 minutes, he drank water and he was on about his business. And now him and Prince are like crazily energetic. Like they already kind of were, but they're like very energetic now. Like, it's overwhelming.
But so are you. So you guys are kind of like, and that's why
we're feeding off of each other.
Yeah, I'm like, it would be so good if we could just do. That's why I said, you know, we should just do. If we're gonna do you, and then you told me about him, I'm like, we should just do all three of you at the same time.
Yeah.
Get you all, you know, nice and good. And there was energy definitely attached to Prince. It was good for him to get clear because those little pockets will just fester and attract more, and because
right.
he's a naughty little boy, eating whatever he can get his mouth on, then you know he's kind of susceptible to that. And don't forget, I told you about the spray.
Well, okay, so you said rose hip oil?
No, rose.
So just rose oil.
Yeah, rose essential oil, and then Himalayan rock salt.
Okay.
And spring water. If you wanted to add something else in there, like lavender, you could do that with the rose. But the rose definitely, because it's the highest vibrational flower and you know flower essence.
Okay. And I'll just make that little tincture and then spray it on us, like just spray it on them.
So
okay.
Get like here, I'll show you. Get like a water bottle. I love these glass bottles. I got these.
Me too. Love glass.
Oh, that was in front of the wrong camera. And so just fill it up with spring water. Do like a handful of rock salt and just leave your rock salt in there. And you know, just a few drops.
Okay.
You want to when you spray it, you want to smell rose.
Okay, perfect.
Just not overwhelmingly, but enough to where you know that it's in there, and just spray it over you and over the dogs and on their little paws. You don't have to get them soaked, but just enough, because that's where they're, you know, they're grounding, which is great, but they also can be picking up energies too, and our animals are really susceptible to energy.
Right. So, okay, that's great. That's great.
Okay, so you and I could just talk forever, but I'm gonna have to edit this for the people who are like, I can't watch this like intro all day long, people. But okay, so we talked about the chakras and how good that felt, and to me that's always like so visually like amazing. And when you were talking about how you could like see her, or, you know, her essence.
Yeah, I was just envisioning like.
Yeah, to me it's just she just kind of blends in and moves, and she's not solid, but she is, and she's kind of like flowy and beautiful and has a face and doesn't, and just, but more than anything is just so loving and nurturing and safe feeling, and gives you those feelings. You know, to me, it's like after each one of those chakras are tethered and connected, as I go up the person's body, I feel it's almost like just like locking something into place. It's just like cha-chung, 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 you know, like you just like in the most like sweet, loving, brightly rainbowy way, and it's really visually stimulating because I like it how we have you feel it and see it from your body, feel it and see it from the outside perspective, feel it and see it from being where she's at, receiving you, feeling it, you know, and seeing it from all these different perspectives, so you can really get it that this is happening, you know, on so many, and you're witnessing it, that the witness of it is so powerful to me. And her presence there is just like, when I started, I got all emotion. I always do.
Yeah.
Always do. At one point I'll start crying at some point during a healing, because it's always so emotional for me. And I try not to, but it's like, Just is what it is, you know. And because it's so overwhelming. Okay, so then after that, we did went up to your crown, got you all opened up there, and then just let that get you in line and open you up fully. And then we went and worked on your problem area. We had that visualization. So how was that for you?
So remember you said that envision an outer body experience, like basically envision you, your angels, me, and everyone touching that problem area and healing. I was able to really concentrate my thoughts, and I could see myself laying on the bed, also touching myself. All of our hands were stacked, and we were doing this. I'm like, we are really doing this. And the first 20 minutes, I just let you do your thing. Energetically, I was present, but when it got closer to actually concentrating on the problem area, and the healing got deeper, and I was in a deeper meditative state, my entire energy was all in. So it was just as like energetically pulling for me as it was for you and everyone present. But I literally, as my eyes were closed, I envisioned all of us, our hands were stacked on top of my body, and we were all just on the same energy force. We all wanted this just as bad. It was just such a beautiful thing because I played a part in my healing. And that for me was a big deal. It wasn't just relying on something else. It wasn't just, because sometimes I think we get desperate and we expect the healer to do everything. You have to meet them halfway, energetically, mentally, emotionally. You have to, like you said, be ready for it, but then also put in the work too. So I could feel myself wanting it that bad. My energy was there, and it was full on, which is, you were right. You do get hungry or sleepy afterwards. Losing energy. I had no energy when that done.
Yeah, it's like a hardcore workout. It's so
it was
like, because you feel the heat, you feel the vibration, you feel your body's transmuting energy. It really is like,
it was a legit transmutation. That is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Do I feel better about my healing? Absolutely. That fear bug that was inside of me, that was feeding onto fear and making my problems worse. I believe we exterminated it. And so I don't even think about it. And when the thoughts do come up, it's more like
a memory?
Yes. Best way to describe it. It doesn't feel like my reality. It feels like a memory. That's a really good way to describe it. It's like I'll think about it and I'm like, wow, but you don't even feel the same way about it.
Right.
It's not consuming your life anymore. You realize it's just energy. Right. And once we got to that point, you helped me to realize this is just energy. And so if we're balanced, we're cleansed, we're sacred, we're not feeding that energy. And so if it's not getting what it wants, it's going to die. Mm-hmm. It will die off. I truly understand the importance of that now. And I couldn't imagine ever going back to how I felt before then. I truly feel love and nurtured and acceptance for myself, literally. And
because your whole space about that was a completely 180 from there.
Yeah, it was detrimental for my life, you know. And like I said, once I was able to acknowledge that this is just energy, and so you can choose to give to it, or we can transmute it into healing, and let's put our energy somewhere else where it matters more. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. It is just a memory, and it's a memory that is fading slowly, but it doesn't consume me anymore.
Right.
It doesn't. And it's only inspired me to love myself more, to nurture myself.
Good.
It's helped me to identify with where I was putting my energy. So once I realized where I was putting it, I'm like, okay, it's not fulfilling me. It's really bringing me down. It's making me feel like a piece of crap. It's making me believe things about myself that aren't true.
It was like a cancer in your whole everything.
That's what it felt like, a whole cancer in my body.
Yeah.
And it was making me believe things about myself that weren't even true. Like sometimes we are our own worst enemy. And feeding that energy was literally not even allowing me to see the person that I truly am. And so this healing brought me back to the surface of who I am. And it helped to clear out energies from the past. So it's like, okay, this is who I am, but also I've released a lot of things. So I'm getting to know myself all over again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding things out about myself that are amazing me, like showing that gratitude for who I truly am. Like, I'm just like, you're hot stuff, girl. And I can't believe I didn't even believe those things before. Not like physically, like literally, like just spiritually and emotionally too. Like, I feel fulfilled. I really do. And each day gets better. I write more, where some days I would let that energy consume me, so I didn't have motivation just to do the small things to even make myself feel better. It is a point now to nurture, to continue my rituals, to do whatever makes me happy. You told me about nature, how connected I am with nature, how I should be in nature. I already knew that about myself.
Yeah.
But these energies were keeping me from that.
Yeah.
Now every day I'm outside. It doesn't matter what the weather looks like. If it's raining, I'm on my patio. I'm having some tea. I'm getting my whole life. Today I spent like 2 hours in the sun, and I'm soaking in what truly makes me happy. So like I said, I'm focusing my energy on those things now. We don't care about the other low vibrations. Those were really keeping me in a time dimension, in a segment that I just no longer needed to be in. And you know what you said to me? Take what you learn from it, but that's it. Don't let it consume you. Understand that this is a part of your journey. These are things you have to learn so that you can help others to heal. And it's so true. My experiences now will help others to heal, even if that's just getting them to tap into their true self, loving themselves first, realizing that we can't do much if we're not tapped into ourselves. You have to really be connected. That soul and that heart, they need to be connected. That is how I feel. My soul and my heart are now connected. They were separate. They were pulling away from each other. My heart wanted this. My soul was dying for this. My soul wanted to live its mission. Now they are together. My heart is like, we're backing up your soul because we understand your purpose. You now understand your purpose. Now let's just do the damn thing. And that's how I feel. That is really how I feel. It's just, sometimes words aren't even good enough to describe what you're feeling, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so this has been the most amazing experience. And like you said, I have come across healers that are not even real healers. I've come across people that they're not in this for the right reasons. And then that helped me to realize they haven't healed from their own things yet. So when I say I truly believe that the universe brought me to you, they really did. They truly did. And you are so divine. And you are not something to be taken for granted. You are literally, you're such a beautiful soul. And meeting you now, it feels like more than a relationship with my healer. Because, right, every healer needs a healer, right? I truly have found a friend, someone that I can come to about anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I believe that what you're doing is definitely your life calling. Because if you can do this to me remotely and help me change and ground and come to terms with who I am, I can only imagine being in your presence. That'd be insane. That would be insane. So I thank you. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, my voice, we thank you. This isn't the end. I'm sure we'll have plenty of other conversations, and when I need some tuning up, I'm going to have to hit you up. But just like for right now, the way I feel, the best way to describe it, I am complete. I accept everything I've been through. I actually can find beauty in those things. And when you look at that part of it, then it's like, okay, none of that other stuff mattered. Those were just little nasty, negative little parasites that I was feeding. And it kind of makes me feel foolish. I let them eat so well. That I wasn't really, I let them feeding what really was hungry, what really needed, you know, and I let them get fat and chunky and abandoning what really needed me.
It's so true. Yeah, it does. And I'll do that, you know, sometimes kids, trust me, I am nowhere near perfect. Sometimes I get in my, you know, I get frustrated and I get whatever too, or I think that whatever. I can get triggered. I'm highly targeted, so it's a constant like battle to, you know, keep it real in the flow and not let other things bother me. But sometimes it does, and I'll feel that too. I'll be like, oh my God, I'm totally letting whatever this is kind of rule this moment, or I'll get this. Sometimes it really is like, if we're to, even somebody like me can fall into that mind spiral of either fear or anger or resentment or feeling slighted or judged or being judgmental or any of that shamey, judgy, whatever, so quickly. And then you're in the trap of, after you figure that out, that you're doing that, to then judge that, to judge your humanness and whatever those little moments happen to be.
Right.
So it's like, okay, and then without being hard on yourself, just go, okay, well, that was that moment, moving on, like, you just can't, because then you're feeding that even more. And that's a trap that we can get into very easily. I call it the distraction and the chaos trap. Yep. That the little landmines that get literally, like, if you can imagine, you're just doing your life and here comes a whole handful of it's just going to fall, and where it lands anywhere around you is good, because it's just going to keep you distracted this way or this way or this way or this way. It could be people at work. It could be the person you dated. It could be a family member. It could be your neighbor. It could be whatever, the person at the grocery store, the person honking at you on the street. I mean, it goes on and on and on at the possibilities, and they're just landmines just waiting to stick and to take your good energy and to get you in a distracted spiral away from, you can go like, be like this and go whoo, down here like real quick, or you can like just kind of go, okay, there it is, and just kind of go and be above it, and also be above it when you're not. I have a problem, I know for a fact, letting go of the times where I am reactionary, where my mouth is faster than my, let's say, or I am in an energetically crispy day and my fuse is a little shorter for people kind of coming at me. Yeah. And I have said some things to people, where later on I'm like, or I was reactionary, or I should have handled it, and I just beat the hell out of myself about it. I feel so bad on so many different levels that I behave that way. And that's, just another thing to work on, to be gentle with yourself and in those moments of humanness. Because no matter what, while we're in this lifetime, while we're in these bodies, while we're, prior to transcending and leaving this plane, whenever that may be, we're going to be human, we are. And we are going to feel more than other people, no matter how high our vibe is and how many abilities and amazing things we've done or whatever. We're always going to be human. We're always going to have those aspects of feeling ultra feeling on different levels. So it's the balance of that is so important, to be gentle with ourselves, to remember our humanness, and to be okay with that, not always have to be like spiritually perfect, and to just cry sometimes, or just go, today, how many times my guides have been like, today you're just gonna lay down and you're not you're just gonna you're just gonna just stop. And I'm like, okay, I think I really need to do that. You're absolutely right. It's literally like I imagine like a grandma figure going, honey, you're just gonna lay down right now, okay? Like, you just like and in those times, I have to tell you, one of those times where I was so spiritually like twisted up, because there is so much, when you're waking up, there's so many things that are coming at you at such that's what we're talking about, being overwhelmed. And I tell people, you know, when you go through this, you kind of have to, you know, strap on the big seatbelts that they have in like NASCAR. It's not just this thing, but it's like it's like over the crotch and the that's the seatbelt.
I know what you're talking about too. With the helmet too.
And the helmet.
Right.
It's total, like, yeah, you just have to, I mean, it really, really is. You have to be ready for the propulsion and kind of the losing the stomach at some point, and all the different feelings that you want. I remember, I don't know, had you know, this is, well, you're so young, this is way before you. It's a movie that's called Space Camp.
No. I thought of Space Jam. I'm like, that's definitely not the same.
No, it's a movie called Space Camp, and actually, Joaquin Phoenix is in it, and he's like maybe 10 years old in this movie.
Oh,
it's a really, there's a lot of like people that you would know in it, but it's I was obsessed with this movie. All these kids that go to space camp in Texas and they learn how to be astronauts. It's really,
wow, I should find that movie.
It's a really fun movie. Where was I going with that? I'm like, there was a point to that. Space camp, yeah. No, I can't remember. Oh yeah, well they like learned how to do how to be in space and stuff, and I literally like lost my train of thought. I'm like, there was a connection there. Oh, when you're like actually in space, like when you see astronauts and they do that like shaky thing, and then they have like these different parts of the atmosphere they go through, and they feel these different sensations in their body, and their awareness of things are completely different because their atmosphere is completely different, because their gravity is completely different. It's kind of like that. Like ascension is just kind of like that. You go through these and you're alone for the most part, aside from being with your spirit tribe.
Yeah.
So that's lesson number one, is to recognize, you know, while it feels alone, I'm never alone, and I've got a lot of beings and entity, or whatever you want to, you know, say that. So, but it feels alone a lot of the times, or at least in the beginning. And but then at some point you have your boost. So with you, this was your boost. And then after that, there's all the different sensations of literally being a new you on a new world, and figuring all of these things out, and learning what your true essence is, and your soul is, and your abilities are. And really, you know I have many abilities, and I'm talented in many ways. It doesn't mean that I'm meant to do all that stuff, you know?
Right.
It doesn't mean that all the things that I can potentially be really good at, like back in the Matrix days, I could basically sell ice to an Eskimo. I'm one of those people. What did you do? Oh, okay. Like I had offers at different points in my life where I could have worked in different types of sales because I was good at selling, and made pretty good, you know, like pretty good money. Because a lot of different types of sales, you can make a lot of money. But the overall, what's the word? Culture in pretty much any sales environment is, it's the bottom line that matters the most, money. And it didn't matter to me really what that industry was or what it was all about. I didn't like any type of job that it was like centric, or people matter, where it was all about that. And so I didn't have any big sales job, because even though I was good at it, I didn't want to do it, you know? Yeah. And sometimes it can be like that for even, I mean, I've gone back and forth, like, should I even be doing this? Like, like,
Right.
this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And because there are so many, like for me, like I kind of like I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and I said I really feel like I'm an artist who like heals on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that creative energy, I wanted to ask you about that. How's your creative energy? I know you're talking about writing and the dreams
I've
and
just
all
been
that.
tapping back into all the things I loved. I did ballet as a young girl, and I want to get back
Oh,
to that.
that's beautiful.
I've been totally in the house. I'm really tapping into a lot of my inner child abilities. The things I enjoy that kind of felt like they were taken from me. I want to start back painting. I was a really, really good abstract painter. Just things like that. So in conjunction with writing, I want to start back painting and just doing art. I'm obsessed with handcrafted things, so I want to start making like herbal soaps and yoni steams. And I've inquired to a holistic school that we have here in Florida.
Yeah.
To become a master herbalist, and I just want to tap into what I love. This is now the time.
Awesome.
I'm just not settling anymore. So I really am tapping into every little thing that interests me, whatever I want to do. I'm not limiting myself. I can envision myself in 5 years having a crystal shop and all of these amazing things that I want to do that I know I will do. So my creativity, where at one point was being suffocated, is now heightened. It's like it's burst out, and it's like we're here, and everyone's got to accept it because I'm not stopping. Like, I'm just ready. I'm throwing things out there. Even with what I post online now, I went through this phase where I didn't really post online. I didn't really use my media, but now I use that media to engage and connect and educate. So you see, I've been posting like a lot of stuff, and I just like for people to see that, because you never know who needs to see it, for one.
Yeah.
And for two, someone's always being inspired, always. And so I'm okay with that, even if only just one person finds it, inspiring for what I'm doing. But yeah, my creative abilities, where at one point I knew what I loved, I knew what I wanted to do, I didn't believe in myself. Now we're here, they're out, and they're flowing. I'm finding things that I never even imagined that I like now. So yeah, my creative ability, I'm tapping into.
And that's really the car to get into, to get on the road to finding your mission,
Mm-hmm.
is through your creative passions and what drives you to create. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's a smoothie that you're creating that looks friggin' amazing, by the way, that thing was so good today. I was like,
I got so many compliments on that smoothie. I'm like, smoothies are life.
it was so good. But if you're creating a smoothie or an amazing meal that you're sharing with somebody, or a painting, or whatever that you're, or whatever that it might be, that's creating, that whole the key is to create, that drive, that energy that flows in you, that's how, when you're in that moment of 0 point, time kind of falls away and you're lost in those spaces and time of creating, is when your heart chakra and your solar plexus and your throat chakra and your third eye and your crown is all like jive. Everything's just going, and you're tapped in, and they can talk to you, and you can talk. When I say they, just like could be your higher self, your angels, or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're flowing. You're in that space, because that's truly like, besides sleep or sex, it's creating,
Yeah.
with your passionate creative energy, this whole new thing, this whole
Right.
new set of circumstances that you're putting out into. And you're right, if you inspire one person with that energy, it just keeps going and going, and that's what feels so good. That's what drives us. That's that passion.
Yep.
And we can have a whole bunch, like I have a whole bunch of, sometimes it's like, okay, what am I doing? And sometimes I check in with my guides. I'm like, okay, so where am I focusing my energy today? With like,
Right.
where am I going to be? Am I going to be creatively writing? Am I going to be channeling? Am I going to be with my, hands, or elbow deep in soil and working with my, plants? Am I going to be whatever? It doesn't matter, as long as there's something there. I feel that I'm I'm doing. And so dishes will sit for days and days and days and days and days and days. And I won't vacuum for days and days because my set of priorities like have totally shifted. Like,
I've been making myself wash the dishes, and I used to be the opposite. Like, I repotted all of my plants and I nurtured them and got them some sun, and I've just kind of like, it's like the certain things I'm like, I don't care about right now.
yeah.
But then it gets to a point like you need to do it, like the dishes. It's funny you say that because I have been forcing myself to wash the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually not even that many. It's just like, oh, but I just would rather do something else right now, like be creative.
Yeah.
I'm like obsessed with this right now. I just want to create.
I know.
All I want to do.
I know. So we have these like, and then we just have to be like, okay, like that's like, that to me is almost like another hard thing is in my own space, managing my space and my time and where my energy goes and all that is part of it too. But back to the whole like new you, it's something to really, I think, drive home for people. Because, and I write it in my website, you probably read it, where I'm like, you need to be like, no, I'm like telling you flat out, there's a new
Be ready.
Be ready for it. If you just, you know, you're going to get more in line spiritually with your own authentic self, with your soul, with your spirit tribe. And because of that, it's going to permeate out into the whole world that you, anybody and everybody that you've known, that you've associated with from this moment forward, it's going to be different. You're going to relate to them different. You're going to see your circumstances differently. You're going to feel differently. You're going to react differently. You're everything. You're going to sleep differently, dream differently, create differently.
Yeah, everything's
going to be different. And a lot of
nothing is the same.
It's really, and there really isn't a bad, like I say, there isn't a bad side effect. There really isn't. But you still have to like have the helmet on and the seatbelt on, because you will get thrown a lot of codes. You will see a lot of synchronicities. You will, you know, see your body do new things and have new abilities and all of these things. And, you know, there's no schedule for it. There's no, this is how it's happening. You're getting a little itinerary of how it's all going to work for you.
Right.
Wow, wouldn't that be great? But it's like being in a ride at like Magic Mountain or Disneyland, where you don't know the theme, you don't know how long it is, you don't know who's on the ride, or if it's light, or if it's dark, or if it's colorful, or if it's wet, or if it's cold, or if it's hot, or if you're free falling, or if it's one of those. You have no idea what this ride is about, but you're going. And if you could do that in that space of just kind of enjoying the free fall kind of thing, because so many of us are like, we don't like that feeling, that out of control, we don't know what we're doing or where we're going or what's happening feeling, when I like don't like have all my ducks in a row and know where everything has been and is coming from. And you can't live these two lives.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
And that life makes you restricted.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
That
life makes you feel very restricted, and I feel unrestricted now.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, we just get comfortable. Change freaks people out. Yeah. So it's really more just about understanding that your life will change, but it's only for the better. Yeah. But you have to get uncomfortable with what made you comfortable, because usually what makes us comfortable keeps us stuck, keeps us placing in one spot, and that's not what growth is about. So I agree. Like, you just got to be ready to really, truly tap into change. Change is such a beautiful thing. It's actually mind-boggling.
Yeah, and when you're on an awakening trajectory, when you're a light body, light worker person, change is a more constant in your life than it is when you didn't live that life, or for the person who doesn't have that life, because you're constantly on this like trajectory where more is always supposed to be coming at you. You know, like there really isn't a plateau for a light body person. There isn't for anybody. Okay, I want to say that. But when it comes to like the awakening as a service to others person, there's this constant evolution to that. We just have to know. And I think that if you look at the people who came before us, you can see, and maybe are no longer with us, but you can see how there was this constant like growing and learning part to their teaching too, and their journeys too. Like there's never a time, like I said, we're always going to be human, we're always going to feel human, we're always going to be like doing and dealing with this stuff. It's just always gonna, like, we think like, oh, this might, like I said not too long ago, I was just like, I get tired of hearing myself say how intense it is, because you know, seriously, like the energies are really intense this week or this month or whatever. I feel like it's just a broken record. I really, really do. I don't know how else to say it, but it's like intense. Like, I'm saying it again, but it's like every time it feels like it has a whole new meaning, a whole new thing, and it's really intense today isn't what was really intense back in May or January or February. It's on a whole other level. Like today, I wake up at 2:22. I'm still awake at 33. By the time it reaches 4:44, I've decided I'm up, things are going, and I'm like, and then there's 5:05 and 5. I mean, it's just like all day long, you know, and there's like things going on, and all that's meaning is like things are coming into alignment and into play, and the change that I wasn't ready for then, I am now. And everything does happen in its time and for a reason, and blah, blah, blah. Like we were talking about, we don't know what's out there, but the part that's really cool that we didn't have before, I know I didn't, in many points in my life, I mean, I was really kind of hoping I would be dead by 55, and I didn't have a whole lot more to that because I was in a miserable life, barely surviving and hating every moment of it pretty much, you know. But now it's like, oh, I'm so like, who knows where I'm going to see and where I'm going to go and what I'm going to experience and who I'm going to meet, and who other people that are similar to me but different, we can help each other, like all that stuff, you know. It's like I do this obviously to make people feel better, you know. I, whatever it is, if it's just a perfectly healthy, nobody has a whatever, one of their, you know, like most people I talk to, they do have a one thing. But even if you don't, it's like just to clear people out, make them, you know, have them feel better and stuff like that. But then it's like from that, it's about getting them to a space where they're in that car, where they didn't even know there was a car that they could get into and get to their, you know, space. You know what I mean? Where there's so many of us that are like lost and giving up and just feel so alone, and that is, to me, like, I want to not only help people but help bring people to a place like where they can come together, where it's like kind of a hub for people to, even like a directory, a registry, like, I'm Nichole, I live in Florida, these are my abilities, this is what I make, da 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 da. I consider myself, like, for me it would be, I'm Infinity, Vanessa, Earth Mama, I live in Crestline, California. I am you know, if you want to go there, like an angelic mystic. I've lived, you know, you see, you can kind of identify yourself and what your interests are. And then I think as we do that, because then, you know, I'll meet someone that's 5 miles away from me that I didn't know existed, that's, you know, so I've had that vision too, where then we're really popping off each other in a big way. It's just not just me kind of here and me kind of, you know, I know that with each person, just like getting you online, you're just going to blow up your area, and more people are going to come to you like they're already doing, and you're going to see other people, and it's just going to, and we're in these different places. And what's so amazing was, like, when I was like, oh wow, like, what am, like, how's that going to work? Like, I had to be told I can do what I do remotely, you know? And I was like, how's that? And then it was really cool because they showed me this vision of, I mean, I'm not the only healer that works remotely. A lot of healers work remotely, but for us to be able to be in one spot and through technology that we've never had before, we can, you know, reach across so much space, and I here can, you know, help activate you there. Like, it's so freaking awesome.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
it's so cool. And then you're there, and then you're just gonna, and then the more we do that, but I have, and if you think of anything or whatever, it hasn't even, it's been a vision and an idea about this whole like registering or whatever kind of thing, because we are so much more powerful in numbers together.
Yeah, I believe that too.
You know, and this is the time for us to come together more, to unite, to help each other out, to just clickety click click click. You know, it's just like one of the. And I know there's a lot of forums out there and stuff, but I haven't heard of anything that's like quite like that, where you literally like a database of light workers, and you can like find people near you, and you can put out like a call, like, you know, whatever, you know, like something like that. Like once that, and I want it to be creative based and art based, and people to talk about, you know, because we're all artist people, and what, you know, our talents and abilities are, and how to help cultivate those things. And because that's the other part of it too. And we're all healers in certain ways. Some people sing and they're sound healers. Some people.
That's funny you say that. We didn't get to talk about that, but I sing.
Yeah.
I said that I wanted to incorporate that somehow in healing.
Yeah.
You know, imagine just laying on a bed or just laying down and relaxing, and I get you into a deep meditative state by using my angelic voice. And see, my family wanted me to be like this professional singer, and I just never wanted to do that. I didn't want to be in that. Definitely didn't want to be in the Hollywood life at all, because I understand that stuff. But it's funny you say that, because you're in my brain. That's something that I could imagine too. Like the options are endless.
Yeah.
And like you said, when we come together, we're much stronger. We are much stronger.
Absolutely.
We cultivate when we're together. You know, you can only do so much. You've got a lot to hold on your shoulders. So imagine just a team of us all coming together with the same intentions.
Yes.
A lot of these things would go away.
Yeah. There's a thing where did you happen to watch the Lionsgate
your video?
Yeah.
Yes, I did watch your video.
You did? Okay. So wasn't that trippy how I like
I watched all of your videos.
Oh my God.
I like stalked your page for like 3 days, and then I messaged you finally.
No, you know what? No, that was so like, I thought, and that happens sometimes. I'll just be like, okay, this is what we're doing, and then it'll be like, nope, this is what we're doing, or we'll just take over. That is the first time I've ever like been on video and had like that kind of takeover thing, and going back and watching it was really kind of weird too, because I mean, I'm totally present, but yeah, it's not me. It's not coming from me. It even sounds different. It's just totally different. It's so weird. But anyway, in that reading, it was just all about cooperation and not competition, and you know, that whole, we're not doing things as entrepreneurs alone. I have my healing business, and this is, you know, like the chiropractors of yesteryear, you know what I mean? Like those were the healers who like, okay, I'm my own healer, you know, kind of thing. And I have my own, you know, maybe they got together a couple of them, but you know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, I'm a healer, but we're seeking each other out. We're knowing that we know that there's other innately. It's like just the walkie-talkie getting online for that connection to each other, and then discovering each other and how we can help each other and what that means, and in our journeys. You know, I am so completely wholeheartedly on board and and in like, and in the note, I can't even like talk about, it's like about just knowing this like global community, this uprising, literally, this uprising of light bodies. Like we're just coming online so hardcore now, and that there is just going to be this like major, like we've arrived kind of thing, and then it's just going to be about like getting organized more than anything. You know, just organizing ourselves with each other, and what are we doing, and how are we, you know, helping humanity and the environment and animals. Like everybody has their own, like, this is what I do, and this is what I did in my matrix life, so this is my experience, and this is what I can apply into my mission life, if you want to put it that way. And then this is how I could be of service to other people, so people can, you know, have other abilities or other experiences or done whatever, and still extrapolate from that in their non-matrix life and help other people sometimes too. So that's like something that's just so such a big theme that keeps coming to me, that I'm supposed to keep, you know, telling other people too, is just hold on, you know, it's coming. I'm telling myself, you know, I told you about like how on the new moon, I'm like, okay, I'm ready, because I've been alone too, essentially. I mean, I've kind of reached out here and there, but I don't have my tribe, you know. And it's like, no, we do this when we're ready. We're ready when we're ready, and then it gets just kind of like the way we perceive our place in that future. And for me, it's just I baby steps is identifying more empaths. You know, just getting the empaths online, and hearing how you've been feeling these last few days compared to how you did feel, and being a part of that just is, I can't even tell you. I was walking on cloud nine after our healing the other day, and every single day since then I've been more at peace. I've been more like feeling the validation and the reassuredness and the motivation and the excitement, you know. Your excitement excites me. I was so excited to talk to you today, to, you know, because it's like when we talked the first time, it was like, and I told you, I'm like, I know you're gonna feel better. I know you are. And it was like, I believed you. I was like, I just can't wait to see what that, you know, that metamorphosis, that butterfly just bursting. Like I told you, I said, I just see you just explode. And you're like, oh, I want that. You're like, I want that so bad. I'm like, I was like, you will. I'm like, I promise you that. I promise you that. And it looks like I delivered on my
And I think it literally only gets better from here. This is literally like what, just day 4. I can only imagine looking back like 30 days from now and months from now, and I'm like, this was the start of something beautiful. So yes, once again, I thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I really thank you so much. I thank you again for trusting me, for following your guides, to you know, to go out there on that ledge. I know that you've been out there looking and following, and knowing that you've had to do this because you've been to other people and stuff like that. And so I think it's so great that, I mean, I literally just really came online, you know, in this way, like full force. You know, it's been a journey for me. I couldn't do it a little bit either. You know, I had to be all in what I do, and that's all happened in its own time as well. So, but to be a part of this chapter for you is just so gratifying and rewarding, and I honestly can't wait to see how it, and I know you do, you do too, but for me, it's just like, oh my God, you're just, yeah, maybe, you will paint and you will sing and,
I will.
that'll be, these will be things that you can, do and incorporate, and you'll figure all these things out. And,
Right.
I'm here for you no matter what. And, I know at some point here we will be in the same room.
We will. I've kind of already had visions that I would come see you. I don't know when, but I've had those visions. Like, we're going to get together. We have to.
For sure.
And we're going to go crazy. We're going to have so much fun.
Oh, no. We'll go terrorize the rock shop.
They're not ready for the both of us.
I know. Right?
They are not.
And they'll just be like, oh, you brought another.
Oh, yeah. And she's just as intense as I am.
I want you to come. You'll just, you'll have to bring, I don't know, suitcases to take your crystals back. Because
literally, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. But, okay, so I think we could probably talk for another however many hours, but
yeah.
I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
I thank you so much for doing this. It was really good to follow up with you about how it all felt. And one thing we didn't talk about just real quick is after we did the specific one area, we worked on that, and you talked about that so beautifully and vividly, how you just saw it like all of our hands and you're part of that healing. You really were. You really, really were. And it just go away. And I felt it. We all felt it. It's just the energy just was gone to all of that. It felt amazing. When you were in the different stages. Now, for me, when I know that your energies are lifting, I get like flashes of light. Like behind like is the lights coming off in real life. You know what I mean? Did you feel that?
I got really bright white lights.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not sure if you noticed, but opening my eyes at some points. Like at one point,
my eyes are pretty much closed the entire time.
Yeah, and then I would open them like every now and then because I'm like, wow, that got really bright. And I had to double check because remember, I closed my blinds.
Yeah.
I dimmed the room down. I'm like, wait for a second.
Oh, and then all that crazy lightning and thunder started at the end.
Yes, that was the most insane. I was like, okay, they're acknowledging that things are changing because that was a really loud, powerful.
Oh my God. I know you're in Florida. I'm in the mountains in California, and not too long ago we had these big, it shook everything, and it felt like that's what was going on there. Like
it never gets that bad. Like I'm in Jacksonville, so our weather's kind of like in and out. Like some days it's like 99 degrees, and then an hour later it's raining, and then the sun's out again. Some days it rains all day. Some days it's hot. Like today was a perfectly hot day. But like that thunderstorm, Prince, give me a second. That thunderstorm was intense.
Oh my God.
That was like very intense.
Yeah, it really was. At one point I was like, holy moly.
I know, like my apartment was rattling. You could feel like.
So, and I told you afterwards is that the family that I healed in Ukraine, the exact same thing happened during their healing too. Lightning, thunder at the end of it. And all I get from that is like, and what I hear from that is just the environment that you're living
feel the healing
really getting cleaned out. Where
that's what I said too.
That intense. It's like, and I'm like, is this gonna happen every time? They're like, maybe. Almost.
Just might. You should probably put that in your disclaimer.
Like, of course you would answer that way.
Look, that should be in your disclaimer. Just might storm really loud and intensely.
Side effect is some rain. Maybe. So anyway, I wanted to ask you at the very end is what I always call, even more than the healing, because of course I love the healing, getting rid of the thing in your body and the thing in his head and the thing in anybody's body. I eat that. I love that so much. But what I really love is that at the very end when we're infusing it with infinite love light energy.
That was beautiful.
So tell me about that from your perspective.
I teared up, and I'm getting chill bumps just thinking about it, but I teared up because when you hear the words infinite love and light, you know, you can probably take them with a grain of salt. You don't realize how powerful it truly is.
Yeah.
And so when you were infusing that energy into me, it was not something I could see. It was something I could feel. I truly felt loved. I felt supported, and I'm choking up right now because it is so beautiful. Like, just imagine, like, just something just taking everything away from you that you always thought would be you, and filling you with something different, something you've never felt before. It's indescribable, and it's something that I was probably seeking in things and people that I received that day. And that's truly why I'll never be the same, because now I just want to give that off. Like, I just want to give that, what I feel and experience, I want to give that. The only way to describe it is exactly what it means. Infinite love, light, energy. And it feels like something that will never go away. Even when I have those moments where I'm thinking, or I'm overwhelmed, like you said, we still have our days.
Yeah.
I still think about that energy that lives within me now, and that is more important than anything else. But when you were infusing that energy, I cried. I was tearing up because I felt unconditional, pure love. And it is a love like no other. And I hope anybody that's watching this truly understands how powerful that really is.
Yeah.
So yes, I can feel infinite love in my energy. That was the cherry on top.
Right?
Going through the chakra, like, okay, this needs to get done. Focus on the problem area. Like, we're moving through this with the ending, the icing on the cake, infusing that energy.
Yeah.
And that's just something
that's
words
don't my even favorite part because I feel it so intensely coming from your tribe, coming from your soul, I get emotional because it's so powerful, coming from Mother, Father, God, coming up from Gaia again. She comes in again into it, just all, and I use the word blast because I don't know of a better word
like that
than you get blasted with love light energy directly now. And the purpose for it being in your heart and not in your heart chakra is because we're going into your actual physical body with it.
Yeah.
So we're going through into your energy, but we're also infusing this on a cellular, I can't say the word, cellular level.
Yeah.
And that's when it's going through the vortex of your heart and it's pushing that light through. And when I tell people, just imagine this wave of this beautiful love light energy just going all through you. For whatever is still lingering at the moment, just kind of effervescently just replacing it, going all through there, covering every molecule of your being in this love feeling energy. Is like there's nothing like it. And I tell people it's like a soul hug and going home.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. It's just a beautiful thing, and it forever changes you. And the idea is that you're ready for it, and it feels good, and you have that exact reaction that you want to exude that and send it out. Because it feels so good. It's like that whole I'm afraid of love concept just sounds ridiculous to you now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's out. That's out the door.
Yeah, it's like a ridiculous concept. And I used to be like, I'm like guarded from love. I've got walls 50 feet thick and 100 feet high. And, so many people are like fearful of love. And so it literally becomes a less and less amount of that pureness in your own body, and as that happens, that connection to your soul is more disconnected. The connection to your soul tribe, the connection to earth and nature, that's why you're just like, ah, because you can get
if it wasn't illegal, I'd go outside naked. That's how free I feel. That's how happy I am. Like, I just, that literally is, in words, don't even like do it justice. But
I know it's hard to describe it in the feeling
and
the visualization and all that stuff, but it's important to try, because it's like, oh, so many more people need to feel that, because
they need to feel it.
And
they really
do.
recommend.
It's like, it's such a beautiful thing, you know, and you're right. It changes there. We have to be vulnerable. We have to have faith. We have to, you know, like I say on the website, it's not just deciding or saying, okay, I believe. It's remembering. Mm-hmm. That's such a big part of it, you know, is that you're at this place that you not only buy into it, or you believe in energy stuff. How some people say, oh, I totally believe in that energy stuff, and I'm like, okay, but to really get the essence of it is to remember what you're like. When I say that to people and they kind of go, oh, like what your soul is made out of, we're just infusing more of that in there, you know, like just power boosting it up, you know, kind of thing. And people go, oh, that sounds amazing. And I'm like, yeah, right. Because it is. It's like the best thing ever. And it feels so good to be a facilitator of that. Mm-hmm. Like, some people ask me, like, do you get tired? Does it wear you out when you do healings? I'm like, are you kidding me? It is so beautiful and energizing. Yeah. And electrifying, and it's such an experience for me that no, the answer is no. It does not. It completely, I feel like with each healing I do, I heal more. With each, you know, with I level up, how could I not? You know what I mean? If that's all coming through me, all that light, you know, like how could it possibly not? I mean, I feel like it every time. Like I said, I'm addicted to it. I love the reaction. I love the feeling. I love everything about it. And when people can feel that and are transformed like you, and it is do you feel like that, like it is like a remembrance to like what that should feel like? Is it's like, oh,
it's like, it's a feeling that it's like
it's getting dark in here.
It feels familiar because it's like we know we should feel this, or maybe at one point, like when we were first born, we felt it.
Right.
But then the world, you know, it tarnishes it. It toxifies it. And we get comfortable with this idea of what love feels like. And it's not, you couldn't even imagine.
And most of the time we have no idea what that is. It's a wrong idea of what love is. It's not love. It's attention, it's gratification, it's manipulation, it's all sorts of things, but it's not love. It really is.
This is like no other. This is what we were born to experience. This is our birthright, but it's more like infusing it back into yourself.
Yeah.
Getting yourself back to what you were born with. This is our birthright to feel that. And I think, like I said, we've accepted that these other foundations of love, we don't really know. So now that I feel that, I could never go back to that old way of that love. I could never do that ever again. And I would be able to recognize it in other people and in situations. And I would be able to say, okay, no, it's not love. Right. That's not love in any way, shape, or form. Right. Infinite love and light is something totally different. It's on an entire different scale. It's pure love. It's what love should feel and be like. Yes. And everybody needs to experience that, because this world would be a different place.
I know.
It would be insanely different.
I know. Well, because like all of those, what we see and perceive as negative feelings and emotion that drive us to that separate place, that separation from self and authenticity and love for ourselves. Like, and I have it on my Instagram someplace, and I'll show it to you. But a couple years ago, when I started going through my own thing and learning what love was and what that felt like, feeling it from my guides so deeply, and just, I didn't have a go-between. It was just them to me, and it was like, wow. And and it was like, it was amazing. And this, you know, I'm sure you know the song, the John Legend song, All of Me.
Oh, all of me, yeah.
So I, from the first couple times I, you know, because he has real emotion behind that song for his wife, and he, you know, really does feel that and stuff. So when people sing like that, it gets to me, and I like get emotional. But then in my, you know, wake, fast forward, and the song came on, and I'm like washing dishes. I'll never forget it. I'm washing dishes in my place in Long Beach, and start like singing and we're, you know, mouthing the, because I love to sing and I love music and I'm doing all that. And then my guides go, now sing it to yourself.
Probably can't even get through the first couple.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I just started bawling. I couldn't even. I was like, because it was like, sing it from your soul to yourself, to you, the human inside you. I get emotional just thinking about it, because I was like, oh my God. And if you listen to that song and you instead of thinking as a man to a woman as a romantic relationship, if you extrapolate those circumstances from his words and just hear it and feel it as a soul to yourself, it takes on a completely different meaning. Because it's all of me loves all of you. It's what it's talking about. Even in when you're crying, you think you look like crap. Even when you're doing this, even when you're doing that, I'm here for you. I love you. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, it's just this on and on and on, unconditional kind of feeling that a human can try to, you know, convey to another human. But this is about soul to you, like your soul, highest self to you. And I was just like, oh my God. So like, to me, like that was part of my own, like, that was a moment for me that I was just like, oh my God, yeah, I do feel that. I feel that love. And while I always thought I was pretty cool and I was a nice person and I was lovable and I could give love, I didn't have that. I didn't have that deep connection in that sort of way, that feeling so loved. And then it grew. It wasn't just soul to self, it was angels to me, brothers and sisters, and Jesus. And, you know, it just grew and grew, and, you know, it just kind of like on and on and on and on and on. It was just like, you know, this infinite love just doesn't come from one source. It comes from every in existence, in creation, from every single thing in nature that's natural, beautiful energy, light, that's feeling you and loving you at this moment, that's coming to you in this way. It's just so utterly life-changing. We could just talk about this, okay? So I think the way that you express all that is just so beautiful. And I thank you again for you know, going there and sharing so openly, being a healer yourself, because you know, when we share like that, you're backing me up in what I say. And to be honest with you, it's been really hard to get somebody that I've healed to do this. It's been, I don't know why, but I've had people come to me that I needed to heal, but they healed and they kind of retracted because it was very uncomfortable for them. Their deal, you know, and me and my presence and going there and talking about it, and even like sometimes even getting somebody to write a testimony, like a couple of those testimonials, I'm like, would you please? And you know, it's like months later, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, I, you know, kind of healed you. But it's like, okay, I get that, but to be able to like, and I get that too, and I've known, and my guides have told me, like, you're going to get to a point where we're going to have, and I want to do another video where I'm kind of explaining more about me and who I am, but my guides told me, you know what, maybe Nichole would be, you know, this would be good for her, it'd be good for you, you know, talk about it like this, and to share. So I really thank you for sharing and being here for people to experience, and that's really meaningful and powerful to me. as a facilitator of this, because the more people who have these real amazing reactions, and I know everybody that does it will, and it'll just, you know, grow. And like I told people, it's like, I don't mean to sound like, I know it's not like conceited or anything like that. I don't even know what to say, but there will be a time where people are going to really have to wait a decent amount of time for my healing.
Yeah.
And not for my sake, for everybody else's sake. I want that to happen like really soon. That means more people are coming to me. You know what I mean? I'm just antsy in my pants for that, for my own development, for my own growth, for me to move on to the next place that I might, you know, be living in and being in, and working with more people. I know that there's going to be, you know, more to that. And it starts with these golden juicy nuggets of our foundations together. It's just
juicy nuggets.
Juicy nuggets that make us just like, it's just, I don't know, it's just so beautiful. And you're right, your guides did guide you, and my guides did guide me, and they're the same guides, and they, you know, they're like doing a little happy dance, you know, all happy since we got together, and I look forward to more of that with you. And you know, I'm always here for you, so, you know, anytime you need me. And I look forward to anything else you want to share with me, or, you know, we could talk numbers and crystals until the end.
Yeah. Literally. Literally, time isn't even enough for us. And that's a beautiful thing, to be able to connect and to you know, have someone so genuine and pure. That's literally just the most important thing. And you know, I don't take that for granted. And so I thank you too. And you know, we come together, we're just helping other people to heal, and we're also we're instilling courage in them. It's okay if they don't want to make the video and testify, or to give a testimony, not testify. Maybe it's just that they need to see something like this. They need to feel this energy to truly see that it's okay to talk about it. Don't be afraid of this change. This is all a part of the process.
Yeah.
And, you know, to truly be in the moment and to see how you've healed is a part of talking about it. So this for me is just, it's sealing the deal. Like, wow, you know, this is sealing the deal for me. And I know someone's going to watch this video and they're inspired and amazed, and they're going to find comfort and healing.
Yeah, and be excited for it. Because they should be. It should be an exciting process too. And I know it's like people are just, afraid of change. They don't think people. They're just, you know, kind of in that mode of despair or whatever, feeling like your circumstance. I felt like that at a lot of points in my life. And I just, again, you know, to put the call out for the people who are guided to watch you and me, to go to my website or to see us online in any which way, form, to be inspired, to know that we are out here and this is possible. And, you know, I thank you again. You know, the gratitude chain is going back and forth here, but, you know, to not have one of you to, you know, on a video to feel that for, you know what I'm saying? Like for you to be that, you know, my first person to sit with me after a healing and to do this, to be the pioneer. We're pioneers, Nichole.
Yes, we are.
Together.
Yes, we are.
We're going to make this world like heaven on earth to the best of our abilities.
Yeah.
That's definitely, I try to tell people, heaven and hell is just right here. It is right here. You don't have to look much further, seriously. So let's just make it heaven is what I try to do every single day. You know, bring heaven in my own life, bring heaven in other people's life, any which little way I can. Just feeds my soul so much. And I know it does for you too. I know you're the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you wouldn't be here if you weren't. So I love you.
I love you.
You're amazing. Literally your face, I could just look at it all day.
Don't make me blush. My dimples, they get deeper when I smile.
So go take care of your babies.
Yeah, they're like whining. I don't know if you can hear them, but they've been whining for like 20 minutes.
I know.
I'm
They're
gonna
over.
take them on a little walk.
Yeah, they're over. Rosie she gave up. She was like all up in my business, like 45 minutes ago. Like, okay, I guess we're not stopping.
Yeah, right? All right, Mom.
But we are now. We swear. We
promise.
So thank you again.
Yeah.
And I hope you have a wonderful night. And I'm sure I will chat with you.
Yes, we will keep in touch. It's become a thing. Take care. Love and light.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Blessings, babe. Bye.
Yes.